Hey friends, hope you're all doing well. We're doing okay too, just really tired since we've been working non-stop. We wanted to answer a question many of you ask: how does our publishing process work? Most of our audiobooks are first posted on Patreon as paid content. They stay behind a paywall for a few months. After that, they become free to access on Patreon forever. Then, a few weeks later, we upload them to other platforms like YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, X. Lately, our community hasn't been growing much, and we could really use your help. Please share our site in your Facebook groups, Discord servers, Reddit threads, Twitter, X, or with any friends who might be interested. Every little bit helps and we really appreciate it. Thanks a lot for being with us and supporting what we do, which shows Kakashi's powerful influence in the Anbu. In the Hokage Tower, Tsunade sits on the Hokage's seat and opposite her is Lord 3rd Hokage. Tsunade smiled and said, "Sarutobi-sensei, you are right." When Kakashi comes back, those restless Anbu immediately calmed down. Lord 3rd blew his pipe and said with a smile, "Haha, that's natural. After all, apart from me, only Kakashi can convince these people from Anbu." Now that Kakashi is back, the grievances in their hearts naturally disappeared. Don't worry about it. Their feelings for Kakashi are built up bit by bit. And you have been away from Hidden Leaf Village for a long time. It doesn't matter to me. After all, I originally didn't have much interest in the position of Hokage. Kakashi is indeed a good candidate. But, I don't know why he refused to take over the position of the Lord 5th Hokage. Tsunade said curiously. Hearing this, Lord 3rd sighed and said, "Kakashi is having a bad feeling from an organization called Akatsuki. He asserts that this organization will cause a huge storm in the future, so he needs time to deal with this organization." Akatsuki? I have heard that it seems to be a mercenary organization that obtains funds by hunting down shinobi like bounty hunters. Now it seems that they are not that simple. Yes, it's not that simple. I have also investigated these people. They all seem to be composed of S-rank missing nin, and Orochimaru is also in this organization. Orochimaru? Tsunade muttered, remembering the man that resembled Snake. Well, the gathering of such a group's tasks will never be for the purpose of making a living, so Kakashi's concerns are not unreasonable. Let Kakashi deal with this matter. Tsunade nodded. She knew Kakashi's ability. If even Kakashi could not deal with this organization, then no one in the world could deal with this organization. For the time being, the talk about the Akatsuki's incident was finished. Tsunade and Lord 3rd then talked about the village again, and after a while, Lord 3rd left. After all, the Hokage at this time is Tsunade, and she has a lot of things to do. Lord 3rd is now only an elder, so he can relax. There were a lot of things in Anbu piled up, so Kakashi had to deal with it for 3 days before he had time to go home and slept well. After waking up, it is already in the middle of the night. Ah, it's a good night's sleep. Kakashi stretched out his body. He then took a seal scroll with the word I written on it from his ninja bag. Kakashi narrowed his eyes and muttered, "The time is almost here, it's time to integrate it." As soon as the voice fell, Kakashi's figure disappeared from the room, and in the next moment, Kakashi appeared in a secret room inside Hidden Tea Village. This secret room is placed under Kakashi's room in Jinjin Village and it is highly concealed. No one knows about this room except Kakashi and Shizui. And Shizui also hardly came to this place. If Kakashi wants to integrate Mugeza's Sharingan, he needs a quiet environment. The integrating surgery does not require much time, but the time until the integration completed cannot be estimated. After all, Kakashi is not someone from the Uchiha clan. So he is afraid that the time it takes to be used to it will only be known after integrating it. I hope it won't be too long. Kakashi murmured, and then he formed a hand seal. Shadow clone jutsu. It is obviously extremely difficult for one person to change his own eyes. Therefore, a shadow clone is needed to aid him. As for the method of integrating the Mangekyo Sharingan, Kakashi has learned about it from the stone monument of the Uchiha clan. Although the stone tablet has been changed by Black Zetsu, the method of integrating the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan is not changed. The shadow clone looked at Kakashi, nodded, and then placed one hand on the seal scroll. Kai. With a bang, a bottle of green liquid appeared in front of Kakashi. Inside the green liquids, there are 2 scarlet Sharingans floating slowly. Success or failure depends on this. Kakashi took a deep breath, lifted the forehead protector from his left eye, and at the same time, lifted the 4-symbol seal on his left eye. Inside his scarlet Sharingan, the black dart pattern slowly spins and seemed to be somewhat excited. The field of vision of Kakashi's left eye is already blurred at this time. And the eye is almost blind. Okay, let's start. Upon hearing the words, the shadow clone took out the left eye in the green liquids. As for the remaining right eye, it was still in the bottle, and at the same time it was sealed into the scroll again. Kakashi only intends to integrate his left eye to achieve the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan this time. As for the right eye, it is temporarily out of Kakashi's consideration. There are two reasons for this. One is that after the integration of the Sharingan, there will be a period of recovery for the eyes, and during this time, the Sharingan cannot be used. If he transplants both of his eyes, it does not matter for his left eye as it is originally sealed and covered with his forehead protector. But as for the right eye, the problem is big. Kakashi can't change the Sharingan back to normal eye. When his right eye turns into Sharingan, people would know that he got new Sharingan. Therefore, transplanting his right eye can only be temporarily put down. After the left eye finished integrating, he will consider it again. The shadow clone's right hand is covered with green chakra. He then wrapped Magase's left eye in it, and then his right hand slowly approached Kakashi's left eye. Kakashi didn't have any fear and just stared straight into that eye. The shadow clone also covered his left hand with green chakra and placed it on Kakashi's head. Magase's left eye gradually touched Kakashi's left eye. Next, an incredible scene happened. After Magase's Sharingan touched Kakashi's left eye, a shattering sound rang. Immediately afterwards, Magase's Sharingan shattered like glass. Then it slowly entered Kakashi's left eye. Arg! The intense pain caused Kakashi to scream involuntarily. The pain is like stabbing glass shards into his eyes. Kakashi gripped his clothes tightly and clenched his teeth. The intense pain lasted for about half an hour before the integration of the eye finally ended. Magase's left eye had completely disappeared at this time, and it looks like it had never existed. But blood was dripping on Kakashi's left eye at this time. However, the painful expression on Kakashi's face has disappeared and replaced with joyful expression. Success. This feeling. I can feel that Mangekyo Sharingan's power is being absorbed by my left eye. Kakashi joyfully said. The shadow clone took out the bandage that was prepared in advance, and wrapped Kakashi's left eye with it. The blood then slowly stopped. This feeling is so wonderful, the pupil power of the two is constantly merging, and new terrifying power seems to be slowly awakening. Kakashi exclaimed. But soon, Kakashi frowned again. This integration speed seems to be a bit too slow. Kakashi could feel that the integration of the two eyes at this time is at the speed of snail crawling. Is it because I don't have the physique of the Uchiha clan so that the speed of the integration is slow? Kakashi secretly thought. And at this moment, a sudden change occurred. Kakashi suddenly felt a pain in his left eye. He covered his left eye with one hand, and put the other hand on the ground. Damn it. Sure enough, there is still rejection. Chapter 374 Teacher and Students. The rejection reaction continued to occur in Kakashi's left eye. This rejection reaction is much more serious than when he had just got the Sharingan. As the unique KK Genkai of the Uchiha clan, Sharingan is not something ordinary person can control. Throughout the Naruto world, the only outsider who can use it to the point of perfection is Kakashi. Although Kakashi often collapses after using it in the original work, this is something ordinary people won't be able to achieve. The Uchiha clan has experienced 3 shinobi world wars. There is no way the Sharingan never fall to the other great shinobi villages. So why haven't there been any Sharingan user in other villages? Even Byakugan, which is almost impossible to get as only the main branch can be stolen, still fall to the hands of Hidden Mist village. So why is there no Sharingan in other villages? The reason is simple. It is because the rejection reaction of Sharingan is so strong that it is far beyond the control of non-Uchiha clan shinobi. From before till now, Kakashi was the only one who suppressed and tamed the Sharingan with his powerful talent. Although it almost exhausted the original Kakashi's full potential. As for Denzo, he is only able to do it because of the power of Hashirama's cells. Even so, he can only use the Sharingan to activate Izanagi. It can be seen that Sharingan's repulsive power is by no means acceptable to the average person. Originally, Kakashi was able to use a Mangekyo Sharingan, which is the limit for his body, and now that 2 Mangekyo Sharingan fuse together to achieve the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, the rejection reaction become even stronger. The originally Obito's Sharingan has been integrated with Kakashi, but at this time, after being influenced by the Magase's Sharingan, the originally integrated Sharingan is also starting to have rejection. It can't go on like this. Kakashi is anxious, but at this time he can't think of any solution. If this continues, I'm afraid that this integration will be a failure. At that time, the 2 Mangekyo Sharingan will be scrapped, and the loss will be too big. At this moment, the silver-white cursed seal on Kakashi's back suddenly flashed with a burst of white light. The silver-white chakra instantly released into Kakashi's body. This is... Kakashi was astonished. He could clearly see that the silver-white chakra followed the chakra pathway system inside his body and slowly moved towards the Sharingan. Inside the silver-white cursed seal, One of the few silver-white chakra that had just been merged had disappeared in an instant. When the silver-white chakra poured into Sharingan's chakra pathway system, Kakashi only felt that there was a cool feeling in his left eye, and the original sharp pain disappeared in an instant. The integration process that has been interrupted was carried out again. What is going on? Why does Senjutsu chakra offset this rejection? Kakashi was a little puzzled, but after thinking about it for a moment, he couldn't find the answer. When the crisis was lifted, Kakashi felt that the rejection reaction had not completely disappeared, but with the help of the silver-white chakra, it was no longer as strong as before. At this time, Kakashi can feel that if his Senjutsu fusion is completely successful, the rejection will also disappear completely. At that time, Kakashi might be able to completely use the Sharingan like the Uchiha clan's members. At that time, there is no need to use the 4-symbol seal to seal the Sharingan. The integration of Sharingan has not been completely successful yet, so right now, Kakashi is temporarily unable to seal the Sharingan and can only use the medical gauze to wrap his left eye. But, he still covered his left eye with his forehead protector. However, in doing so, Sharingan will remain in a normally open state and the chakra's consumption can't be stopped. And now that the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan is in a normally open state, it can be said that Kakashi's chakra reserve has been sealed more than half by this Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Kakashi secretly rejoiced. Fortunately, he only transplanted one Sharingan. If he also transplanted his right eye, his current chakra reserve would only reach Chunin level. At that time, he won't be able to do anything. I didn't expect the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan to consume so much more chakra than Mangekyo Sharingan. It's really troublesome. Kakashi sighed helplessly. This KK Genkai's problem is really making him helpless. It is not easy to solve it. Fortunately, Kakashi's Senjutsu chakra fusion seems to have an ability to solve this problem, so it is worth looking forward to. In any case, the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan is basically completed. Next, I just need to wait for it to be fully integrated. Kakashi removed the shadow clone and was in a good mood. Although there were so many changes during the middle, it was all worthwhile because it succeeded. Using Hiraishin no Jutsu, Flying Thunder God Jutsu, Kakashi returned to Hidden Leaf Village again. At this time, the sky is still dark, so Kakashi lay on the bed and fell asleep again. The mental fatigue caused by the integration of Sharingan is not that big. By the time Kakashi woke up, it was already at noon. Scratching his silver-white hair, Kakashi climbed out of bed. It's really tiring. After lunch, Kakashi was lazily basking in the sun in his yard, reading Kaka Paradise, but his door was knocked. Kakashi-sensei. Are you there? Kakashi was slightly surprised when he heard this. This voice is Sakura? Kakashi got up, put Kaka Paradise into his ninja bag, and went to open the door. After opening the door, he saw Sakura and Sasuke. At this time, although Sakura and Sasuke's faces still looked a little childish, they looked much more mature than before. The two have grown a lot taller. Seeing the two, Kakashi couldn't help but think of Naruto. I wonder what that kid is doing now. Kakashi smiled and said, "Ah, it's the two of you. How do you know that I'm back?" Sasuke and Sakura both showed surprised expressions when they saw that Kakashi was really in the Hatake clan residence. Sakura then said, "Kakashi-sensei, when I went to see Tsunade-sensei today, she told me about it. As soon as I heard it, I immediately went to find Sasuke, and then we came over together." Sasuke then said with proud manner, "Kakashi-sensei, it's too much that you didn't even say anything to us when you came back." Kakashi smiled and said, "Sorry, I have been back in the past few days. But, there are so many things I need to do, so I can't find you two at that time." When Sasuke heard this, the grievances in his heart slowly disappeared. After all, Kakashi is the Anbu commander, so he is busy with a lot of things, and Sasuke probably knows a little about it. At least compared to his father, Kakashi is a lot busier. Sakura then said, "Kakashi-sensei, Sasuke didn't mean to blame you, but we all missed you, so." "Yeah, I know, since you two are here now, come in and sit down." Chapter 375 Bells. The door of the living room is facing the yard. There is a pond in the yard. There is water flowing in the pond and it falls into a bamboo tube. When the water in the bamboo tube is full, it will fall. With a bang, the water falls, and then the bamboo tube will rise again to catch the water, and repeat the same thing again. It's like the inheritance among Hidden Leaf Village, one generation after another. In Hidden Leaf Village, not only the inheritance is about strength, but also the inheritance of the will. This is the so-called teacher and students. Kakashi, Sasuke and Sakura are sitting in the living room, looks at the scene in the pond. Kakashi made a pot of tea for Sasuke and Sakura, and then placed the filled cup in front of them. Kakashi picked up a cup by himself, took a sip, and then said, "Sasuke, Sakura, How have you two been in these 2 years? Kakashi-sensei, you must know how Tsunade-sensei trained. It's deadly. Sakura started her telling about her experience with Tsunade while shivering. In fact, as Tsunade has been exhausted physically and mentally by Hokage's position in the past 2 years, it is understandable that the time she can squeeze to teach is very small. So the guidance for Sakura is also simple and crude. First, a bunch of theoretical books were thrown to Sakura, and then she told Sakura to practice it. Of course, these are not bad as these belong to the category of medical ninjutsu. As someone from Hidden Leaf Village 12, Sakura naturally has no problems in this. But the other training is the one that makes Sakura felt miserable. This training is called dodging training. According to Tsunade, as a medical shinobi, the most important thing is to protect their own safety. Therefore, medical shinobi must be prepared to dodge attack. The content of this training is that Tsunade was constantly attacking Sakura, from throwing stones to using her fist directly. After one round, Sakura basically lies on the ground and cannot take care of himself. Of course, it's not just Sakura alone who gets such good treatment, as Karen is also the same. The two were equally hard-pressed. It is worth mentioning that after some time, Ino also joined the team of the two and became Tsunade's fourth disciple. Since then, the medical team has been formally established. Of course, these three girls' strength has also advanced by leaps and bounds. After listening to Sakura's narration, Kakashi smiled and said, although Lady Tsunade's training method is simple and crude, it is indeed the most suitable training method for the medical shinobi. Although there are many sufferings, there are many things that can be obtained. Sakura, you should cherish it. I know, Tsunade-sensei is very good to us. But sometimes, her temper is scary. Haha, Lady Tsunade is busy with things and so it is normal if her mood fluctuates greatly. By the way, where is Karen? Kakashi asked. I wanted to find the two of them first, but when I went to their apartment, I learned that Karen and Jugo had gone out to perform a mission, and they hadn't come back yet. Sakura said. So it's like that. Sasuke, how about you? Kakashi looked at Sasuke and asked. Without saying a word, Sasuke directly showed his Sharingan. The three black tomoe are so clear, and they looked full of mystery. Good pressure. Kakashi said with a smile. Kakashi-sensei, we haven't seen each other for 2 years. Why don't we have a spar? Sasuke asked with some eagerness. In Sasuke's view, 1,000 words are not as good as a fight. Hearing this, Kakashi smiled and said, oh? It seems that you are very confident. Okay, then let's go to the 7th training field. My small yard can't withstand our spar. Hearing Kakashi's agreement, a smile appeared at the corner of Sasuke's mouth. Sakura was nervous and said, what? You want to fight with Kakashi-sensei? This. Sakura, fighting against expert can test what you have learned and see where your current limits are, Sasuke said. Ah. Since Sasuke-kun said this, then I can only agree. Sakura said after hearing Sasuke's words. Haha, let's go. The three men then went to the 7th training field. The 7th training field is the place where Team 7 was established. It is a pity that there is one less familiar person in this familiar place. Sakura muttered, I wonder what Naruto is doing now. When Sasuke heard this, he stopped for a moment, and the figure that looked like a fool came to his mind. Don't worry, Naruto is taught by Lord Jiraiya so there is no problem. It is better to worry about yourselves. After all, if you two don't work hard, you may be left behind by Naruto. What a joke. I won't be behind by Naruto. Sasuke said loudly. With the pride of a genius, Sasuke will definitely not be willing to lag behind Naruto. Not bad, then. Kakashi said, taking out 2 bells from his pocket and tied them around his waist. Both Sakura and Sasuke were taken aback when they saw this. Kakashi-sensei, you. Kakashi smiled and said, remember our first survival training? This time is the same. Your task is to take the bell around my waist. I wonder if this time, will you two succeed or not? Both Sakura and Sasuke were taken aback, and then smiled excitedly. Sasuke said, ah, it's really funny, Kakashi-sensei, I'm afraid you won't be able to keep those bells this time. Sakura took out her glove, put it on her hand, and said, Kakashi-sensei, this time, I won't let you deal with us easily while reading. Good, this time, I will be serious. Kakashi smiled and stretched out his right hand, the Millennium Sword instantly appeared on his right hand. Suddenly, a powerful pressure burst out from Kakashi's body. Both Sakura and Sasuke's expressions turned serious. He uses his sword. As Kakashi's students, both Sakura and Sasuke have a certain understanding of Kakashi's swordsmanship. A very simple summary is that there are hardly enemies surviving after seeing Kakashi's swordsmanship. Kakashi's swordsmanship is fast, accurate and ruthless, Coupled with a powerful lightning release, the enemies who fight against this sword will become corpse easily. Sakura couldn't help but swallowed. You're kidding, right? Kakashi-sensei wants to use a sword? Isn't the risk factor too big this time? Sasuke didn't have much fear. With a grip of his right hand, a long sword appeared in Sasuke's hand. Oh? Did you also learn swordsmanship, Sasuke? Kakashi asked with interest. Although Kakashi made a training plan for Sasuke, it does not include swordsmanship. Of course, the Uchiha clan swordsmanship is not weak at all. Sasuke held the sword tightly in his right hand. His eyes turned scarlet, and his eyes were full of fighting spirit. Interesting, then let me see how far you two have grown in these 2 years. Don't let me down. Hee, I'm afraid it will surprise you, Kakashi-sensei. Sasuke said with a smile. Oh? Then let me see it myself. Kakashi said with a smile as his eye turned crescent. Chapter 376 Sasuke's growth. The wind blew gently in midair. The dead leaves on the ground flew up, swaying to the sky. There seemed to be an invisible aura between Kakashi and Sasuke, and Sakura, and the atmosphere turned serious at this moment. Sasuke and Sakura lined up on both sides, looking like they were waiting for something. Compared to these two who are a little tense, Kakashi is obviously relaxed. But if they think that Kakashi is careless right now, then it would be a big mistake. Sasuke looked at Kakashi at this moment to seek a breakthrough. Sasuke felt that Kakashi was full of loopholes, but he felt that those loopholes were all used to lure the enemy. How could this be? Cold sweat dripped slowly from Sasuke's forehead. Sakura also felt the same way. Kakashi just stood there, but gave Sakura an unbeatable feeling. The last time the two felt this way was when they faced against Orochimaru during the Chunin exam. But now the strength of the two is not the same as before. Even if they faced against Orochimaru again this time, these two still have the power to fight. But now facing Kakashi, the unbeatable feeling appeared in their hearts. No, we can't continue like this. Otherwise, I am afraid that even our courage to fight will be crushed. Sasuke secretly thought in his heart, and as chakra went to his eyes, the black tomoe starts spinning, breaking this silence. The long sword suddenly thrown towards Kakashi. Oh? He actually broke my aura pressure lock. Sure enough, Sasuke made a lot of progress in 2 years. I wonder how strong Sasuke is now. Kakashi secretly thought in his heart, and immediately became interested in Sasuke. As Sasuke didn't follow Orochimaru now, Kakashi is wondering if Sasuke is stronger or weaker than the original Sasuke. The long sword cut through the stagnant atmosphere, and the originally quiet 7th training field suddenly changed. The atmosphere was filled with killing intent. Ding! Kakashi moved the Millennium Sword in his hand, and the long sword was bounced off and flew into the air. Sasuke's figure then appeared next to the long sword. He grabs the sword with his right hand, and his right hand tightens his grip. He then waves his right hand. The long sword slashed down from the air. The sword right now contains powerful force. The Millennium Sword moved to block the slash. Ding! The two swords collided against each other. So fast. Both of them were so fast. I didn't expect that Sasuke's Shunshin had already been trained to such an extent. Sakura, who was still in the same place, couldn't help but sigh. In the past 2 years, Sakura has followed Tsunade, and has rarely given missions. Even if she got a mission, it won't be with Sasuke. Therefore, Sakura doesn't know much about Sasuke's current strength. Although the two still met sometimes, they would not fight each other. Therefore, Sakura only has a vague understanding of Sasuke's strength. Sakura was also amazed to see Sasuke's full power at this moment. Of course, Sakura was not surprised by Kakashi's strength. In her mind, Kakashi was inherently outrageous. Sasuke, your speed is good, the timing of the sword is also well mastered. It seems that you didn't waste these past 2 years. Kakashi said with relief. The corner of Sasuke's mouth curled up. After all, getting Kakashi's praise was a great thing for Sasuke. Kakashi-sensei, it's too early to say that. Sasuke let out a soft yell, and the long sword in his hand flashed a blue arc. Kakashi was surprised and muttered, "This is Chidori?" Chirp. The sound of bird chirping rang. Sasuke's long sword is full of blue currents at this time. Chidori. Chidori's lightning attribute chakra are refined and distributed on the long sword. If an ordinary person was hit by Sasuke's sword, they may be paralyzed by the lightning attribute chakra. But it is clear that Kakashi does not belong to this category. On the Millennium Sword, the lightning attribute chakra was also overflowing, and the Millennium Sword also turned blue at his moment. Clank. Kakashi waves his sword and Sasuke's long sword was blocked easily. Not to be outdone, Sasuke released his long sword, caught it with his left hand, and slashed down again. Kakashi's right foot moved a little bit as Kakashi dodged the slash. Kakashi then turned around, and slashed his sword towards Sasuke's right arm. Sasuke quickly moved his feet, and slid away to avoid it. The long sword in his left hand did not stand still at all. When his body turned, he spins quickly like a top, forming a whirlwind-like net of swords. Kakashi is not anxious. Facing the whirlwind-like net of swords, his sword stabbed into it. Ding! Another clashing sound rang as the Millennium Sword and the long sword collide again. The whirlwind-like net of swords also came to an abrupt end. Kakashi threw a kick towards Sasuke's chest. Sasuke was shocked and quickly returned to defense, putting both of his hands to the front of his chest. Bang! Kakashi kicked Sasuke's palms, and the powerful force made Sasuke blown away. Sasuke performs a backflip and landed near Sakura. "Sasuke-kun, are you okay?" Sakura asked with concern. Sasuke shook his head and stared at Kakashi with eyes full of excitement. "Good, you have been able to apply such a detailed application of Chidori. It is worthwhile to teach you this ninjutsu. Your swordsmanship is also very good." Kakashi praised once again. Sasuke showed a smile and said, "I said, it is still too early." After Sasuke finished speaking, his hands formed hand seals. Kakashi's pupils shrank. That hand seal is Lightning Release Armor. Activate. Facing Kakashi, Sasuke didn't hold back, because it is unnecessary. Sasuke knows that even if he uses his full power, he might not be able to hurt Kakashi, and if he holds back, he would have no chance of winning. There is no need for him to hold back, because Sasuke is very clear about Kakashi's strength. Kakashi is very strong. So, as soon as they fight, Sasuke showed his trump cards. After using Lightning Release Armor, Sasuke's aura suddenly changed. The second stage of Lightning Release Armor? Amazing. In just 2 years, he is able to use it to this point. Although he hasn't completely mastered it, it's already worthy of praise. Kakashi muttered. Kakashi never doubted Sasuke's talent. But it really surprised Kakashi that it took Sasuke 2 years to reach this level. If Lord Fourth Raikage knew this, Kakashi didn't know what his expression would be, but it must be very interesting. After all, he has practiced this ninjutsu for most of his life. Now that a 15-year-old boy was able to use it to this level, his expression would be very interesting. "Kakashi-sensei, let's go." A smile appeared on Sasuke's face. The powerful feeling brought by the Lightning Release Armor made Sasuke full of confidence at this time. With this power, even Kakashi-sensei would not dare to be careless. Sakura on the side looked at Sasuke's back with surprised expression. "Is this Sasuke-kun's current strength? Amazing. Sure enough, I am still much behind Sasuke-kun." Sakura felt bitter, but soon, she was filled with endless fighting spirit. "No, I must become stronger. Only in this way can I stand by Sasuke-kun's side." At this moment, Sakura's eyes became extremely firm. Chapter 377 Sakura joined Whoosh. Sasuke left behind an afterimage and stormed towards Kakashi. Ding ding ding. The sound of steel colliding continued to sound as the two has clashed no less than 100 times. Their speed is very fast, compared to before, it has increased to another level. However, no matter how fast Sasuke is, Kakashi can always keep up with him. Kakashi-sensei's speed is so fast. Even after using Lightning Release Armor, he can still block my attack easy. Sasuke was surprised. Although he knew that Kakashi was strong, he did not expect Kakashi to block his attack so easily after he uses the Lightning Release Armor. Kakashi has a look of appreciation as he looked at Sasuke. Sasuke's strength at this time definitely has reached Jonin level, and if he can master the Lightning Release Armor more proficiently, he will able to get close to Kage level. Although he can't use Orochimaru's weird ninjutsu, this Sasuke has embarked on another path to become stronger. A path very similar to Kakashi. Sharingan. Lightning Release. Swordsmanship. Sasuke seems to blindly imitate Kakashi. Although his strength will increase very quickly in the early stage, it may be unfavorable in the later stage. No, in Naruto world, Sasuke will get a lot of things that will make him stronger in the later stage. The Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan that he got easily, and then the power of Six Path that he will also got easily. Thinking of this, Kakashi can't help but complain a little. After all, as the reincarnation of the Indra, he got the same treatment as Naruto that will make them get stronger easily. When Kakashi thought of this, Kakashi felt that this world is really not fair. Although he didn't know what will happen in the future, he knew that right now he still needs to guide Sasuke to become stronger. Kakashi-sensei is really strong. Sasuke secretly thought in his heart. "Sasuke, if you continue like this, you won't get the bell." Kakashi chuckled, and then he waved the sword in his hand. Hotake clan sword technique, Thunder Moon. Blue moon arc appeared around Kakashi, forming a barrier. No matter how fierce Sasuke's attack was, he couldn't penetrate this barrier. Defensive sword technique? It got such a really powerful defensive power. Sasuke secretly thought. He then takes a back step, avoiding the Blue Moon Arc's defensive circle. Sasuke, that's not enough, and, Sakura, till when are you going to watch? Have you forgotten about teamwork? Kakashi said. Sakura was taken aback when she heard Kakashi's words and then she looked at Sasuke. In fact, Sakura wanted to join forces with Sasuke before, but Sakura knew that Sasuke wanted to fight Kakashi alone, so she kept watching and didn't do anything. After hearing Kakashi's words, Sakura became a little embarrassed. Should I join now? Or should I continue to watch Sasuke-kun and Kakashi-sensei fight? Sasuke naturally knows why Sakura didn't join. At this moment, he didn't stubbornly insist on going up alone, so he said, Sakura, let's fight together. Kakashi-sensei is too strong. I can't get the bell by myself. Hearing this, Sakura was overjoyed, and immediately said, yes. Sasuke-kun. Very good, then, this test officially starts. Let me see what you two have learned in these past 2 years. Kakashi said with a smile. Sasuke and Sakura looked at each other, and then Sakura rushed towards Kakashi. A large number of chakra are gathered on her right fist. Through careful operation, this gathered chakra becomes a powerful force. Boom. A loud noise rang as Sakura's fist hit the ground directly. With the fist as the center, the ground cracked all around and quickly spread to Kakashi's feet. Kakashi quickly jumped into the air. At this time, Sasuke put his hands into his ninja bag. He took out dozens of kunai and shuriken, and threw them out. The dozens of kunai and shuriken flew towards Kakashi. Even if he is in the air at this moment, Kakashi didn't panic. The Millennium Sword in his hands constantly moved, and the dozens of kunai and shuriken are blocked easily. But it's not over yet. Sasuke jumped into the air, and then he slashes his sword towards Kakashi. Ding! In midair, the two clashes again. Sasuke jumped from the ground so he got powerful force, and as Kakashi is in the air, he didn't have enough strength to block the attack. With a crisp sound, Kakashi's figure blown away and slammed into a tree. Sasuke didn't have any time to be happy as he heard a bang and then Kakashi's body turned into a log. Crap! It's Kawarimi no Jutsu! Sasuke exclaimed. When is it? Even with Sharingan, Sasuke did not find out when Kakashi used a Kawarimi no Jutsu. As a shinobi, you need to stay calm at all times. Kakashi's voice came from behind Sasuke, making Sasuke surprised. Sasuke-kun. Be careful! Cried Sakura who was still on the ground. But it's too late. Kakashi threw a palm strike with his left hand towards Sasuke's waist. Boom! With a loud sound, Kakashi's palm strike hit Sasuke firmly. The lightning release armor immediately dissipated and Sasuke's body is falling towards the ground. Seeing this, Sakura hurriedly moved towards the place where Sasuke would fall. Boom! The ground under Sakura's feet shattered, and Sakura's body rushed towards Sasuke's location. Sakura was able to hug Sasuke before he landed, and then the two landed on the ground together, forming a large hole and causing smoke to scatter around. Upon seeing this, Kakashi showed a smile, and secretly thought, sure enough, Sakura's feelings for Sasuke didn't change at all. I wonder what the current Sasuke's feeling towards Sakura. The smoke dissipated, and Sakura who was princess carrying Sasuke appeared. Sasuke-kun, are you okay? Sakura asked. Sasuke was a little embarrassed for a while, mainly because this posture made Sasuke very uncomfortable. Sasuke immediately stood up and said, I'm okay. Kakashi naturally wouldn't be merciless towards Sasuke. Even if Sasuke fall without being helped by Sakura just now, he would only be at pain, and there would be no serious injuries. The two looked at Kakashi who is not far away, and saw that Kakashi's clothes are not messy at this moment, and he looked very relaxed. Upon seeing this, the two felt a little helpless. Sensei, you are so strong, it is kind of cheating. In fact, Kakashi didn't use any formidable techniques at this moment, and just dealt with these two with his speed. It's just that in the shinobi world, there are not many people who can keep up with Kakashi's speed. Although Sasuke was able to use the lightning release armor, he hasn't mastered it yet. So, it will take a while before he can keep up with Kakashi's speed. Sakura, Kakashi-sensei's speed is too fast. We have to think of a way, Sasuke said. Kakashi-sensei's speed is really a big problem, but how can this be solved? Sakura asked. If Kakashi-sensei uses his full power, we naturally have no chance, but at this time, I am afraid that Kakashi-sensei didn't even use half of his strength so we still have a chance. Sasuke looked at Kakashi as he muttered in low voice. Sasuke-kun, what are you thinking about? Sakura asked. The corner of Sasuke's mouth curled up, and he whispered to Sakura's ear, we only need this. Kakashi didn't bother them and only watched the two discuss their plan. It is indeed feels like bullying for Kakashi to deal with these two people with his strength, even if he only has less than half of the chakra that he usually have. So, what kind of battle plan do you have? Kakashi had some expectations in his heart. In the battle between shinobi, in addition to absolute strength, the battle plan is also very important. There are countless cases of surprising victory even if there is some gap between the strength. Chapter 378 Got the bell? Can this work? Sakura asked in a low voice. Sasuke then whispered, I don't know, but we have to try it. Okay, Sakura said. Oh? It seems that you two have finished discussing? Kakashi said with a smile. Kakashi-sensei, you have to be careful now. Sasuke said coldly. Interesting. Kakashi said with a smile. Sasuke glanced at Sakura. Sakura understood Sasuke's gesture, and rushed towards Kakashi. Damn it! Sakura shouted as she throws her right fist towards Kakashi again. Kakashi dodged the punch easily. Although Sakura's fist is very powerful, it didn't have any use if it didn't hit the opponent. The power is very good, but the speed is not enough, so it will not reach the opponent. Kakashi commented. Hearing this, Sakura couldn't help but silently complained in her heart, what do you mean that my speed is not enough? Isn't it obvious that your speed is the one that is too abnormal? Damn it! With another shout, Sakura's right fist is lifted high, and then thrown towards Kakashi again. Kakashi jumped up to the sky, avoiding Sakura's heavy blow. Boom! Sakura's fist hit the ground again, causing a huge amount of dust to scatter. At the same time, the ground shattered again. Sakura's chakra-enhanced strength is almost as strong as Lady Tsunoda's. Kakashi exclaimed. Even if it is Kakashi, if he was hit by this punch, he will be definitely injured. Chakra-enhanced strength seems simple, but it is a technique that requires extremely refined chakra control. Compared with ordinary forbidden techniques, the difficulty to use is not that different. Even Shizune, who was Tsunoda's first disciple, couldn't use chakra-enhanced strength. But Sakura was able to use it. This shows that Sakura's talent is amazing in this area. Of course, it doesn't rule out that maybe Tsunoda didn't teach chakra-enhanced strength to Shizune. But if that is the case, Sakura's identity is somewhat intriguing for Tsunoda to taught her this technique. After all, when it comes to feelings, Shizune has better relationship with Tsunoda than Sakura. So, it is somewhat unlikely for Tsunoda to taught Sakura chakra-enhanced strength, but did not teach Shizune. Perhaps only Tsunoda knew the truth. This thought just flashed through Kakashi's mind for a moment, because what he faced next was Sasuke's fierce attack. Slash. Sasuke's body appears in the sky, holding the sword with both of his hands, he slashes it down. Kakashi didn't dodge it, and blocked it with the Millennium Sword. Ding. The two swords then collided again. Although the Uchiha clan's swordsmanship is not as good as Hotake clan's, it is still very good. In the past 2 years, Sasuke has also practiced this swordsmanship in addition to completing the training plan given by Kakashi. It is because Sasuke saw the powerful power of swordsmanship in Kakashi. There are not many swordsmen in the Uchiha clan, even Fugaku is just better at using kunai. In the past, the Uchiha clan had a master in swordsmanship, that is, Shizui. But now, Shizui is no longer in the Uchiha clan. Therefore, at this time, Sasuke's swordsmanship is more of a self-learning Uchiha clan swordsmanship after learning basic swordsmanship. Wow, what a powerful blow. Kakashi landed on the ground and couldn't help but surprised. Kakashi-sensei, now is not the time to be distracted. Sakura attack again, punching the ground. Boom. The surface of the ground cracks again. With a total of 3 punches, Sakura destroyed the ground of the 7th training field. Kakashi felt that something is a bit strange. What is Sakura trying to do? Why is she destroying the ground? But before Kakashi can think of an answer, Sasuke's offensive struck again. Lightning style, thunder, powerful lightning sparks rushed towards Kakashi. Not to be outdone, a ray of lightning appeared in Kakashi's left hand. Chidori. The sparks released by Sasuke was directly shattered by Kakashi's Chidori. What? Sasuke was surprised, he had never seen anyone shattering his lightning release like this. This can be done because of Kakashi's superb controllability over lightning release. If ordinary people tried to do this, they will only worsen their situation. At this moment, Sakura finished forming hand seals and said, water style, wild water wave. Kakashi was startled, water release. When did Sakura learn to use water release ninjutsu? Sakura spewed out water from her mouth, and countless waves of water rushed towards Kakashi. Kakashi wanted to escape, but Sasuke seemed to have expected it, and dozens of kunai appeared in his hands again. With a flick of his hands, countless kunai shot out again, colliding with each other in midair, and then Kakashi's retreat path was completely sealed. Is this planned by them? Kakashi narrowed his eyes. He tried to move his feet, but the ground is already shattered. Water release? Shattered ground? So it's like that. The corner of Kakashi's mouth curled up as he had a plan in his mind. With a move of the Millennium Sword, the flying kunai were instantly bounced away, and at this moment, the water waves rushed over. Kakashi was directly drenched by the water. His feet became unstable and then he fell directly to the ground. After the water fell to the ground, the shattered ground directly turned muddy. Sasuke's eyes lit up, and he quickly formed hand seals. Fire style, dragon fire jutsu, a huge fire dragon spouted out from Sasuke's mouth. However, the target was not Kakashi, but the ground. Under the scorching high temperature, the ground that was muddy hardened instantly, and a burst of rising water vapor suddenly appeared. The water vapor dissipated, and Kakashi's legs were already buried on the ground. Water release and shattered ground formed muddy ground that submerged more than half of Kakashi's body, and then with the scorching high temperature of Sasuke's fire release, the muddy ground directly turned back into hard ground again. Kakashi didn't have time to dodge, and it became the situation right now. Sasuke and Sakura were both overjoyed when they saw this, and then, they landed in front of Kakashi. Kakashi-sensei, we won this time. Sasuke-kun, our plan is successful. Sakura said excitedly. Sasuke also smiled at this moment. Kakashi smiled and said, well, very good combat plan. But what I didn't expect was that Sakura actually learned water release. It is really surprising me. Kakashi-sensei, you must have underestimated me. I have tested my chakra attribute. Not only I have water chakra attribute, but I also have the earth chakra attribute, Sakura said proudly. Really? To have two innate chakra attribute, your talent is really amazing. Kakashi said with a smile. Sasuke then said, Kakashi-sensei, you don't know about Sakura's ability to use water release ninjutsu, so you don't care about the shattered ground. Otherwise, you would see through this plan at a glance. But unfortunately, right now, the victory belongs to us. Sasuke said, reaching out to grab the bells on Kakashi's waist. A smile appeared at the corner of Kakashi's mouth and then he said, one of Shinobi's basic technique, ninjutsu. Sasuke's pupils shrank, and he said in surprise, crap. Chapter 379 Team Kakashi, who was half buried, suddenly turned into a cloud of smoke and disappeared. Both Sasuke and Sakura were surprised when they saw this. Earth style, double suicide decapitation jutsu, crap. Sasuke secretly thought, but it was too late. In the next second, Sasuke and Sakura's bodies sank down to the ground at the same time, leaving their heads above the ground. Kakashi's figure quietly emerged and he stood in front of the two. Haha, is this considered karma? Kakashi said with a smile. Sasuke and Sakura looked at each other and smiled bitterly. Just now, the two wanted to bury Kakashi in the ground, but they didn't expect Kakashi that not only Kakashi was able to escape, they were also buried instead. The karma came a little too soon. Kakashi-sensei, when did you use the shadow clone? Sasuke asked curiously. When? You should try to guess. Kakashi smiled wickedly. Sasuke didn't feel annoyed when he heard this. Instead, he thought about it carefully. Suddenly, he thought of something and said, was it when I fell to the ground and saved by Sakura? There was a huge smoke rising up, so even if you use the shadow clone, we wouldn't notice it. Bingo, that's correct, but unfortunately, there is no reward. Kakashi said with a smile. Both Sasuke and Sakura are secretly annoyed. They didn't expect that the plan the two of them thought about for a long time would fail like this. Well, the test ends here. How do I say, I am very happy to be your teacher. Kakashi said with a smile. Sasuke and Sakura were taken aback when they heard this, and looked at Kakashi. Kakashi then continued, although you two didn't get the bells, you have made great progress in terms of strength and combat plan. Sakura's chakra enhanced strength is very powerful, but the speed is not enough and needs to be improved. As for water release, I didn't think that you would have the talent in this area, so it might be better to develop it. Don't stop training it. Hearing this, Sakura said, yes. Kakashi-sensei. As for Sasuke, your lightning release, shunshin, swordsmanship, they are all excellent. But Sasuke, do you want to be yourself or become the second me? Kakashi looked at Sasuke and asked. Hearing this, Sasuke can only stay silent. He then thought that his development path seems to be exactly the same as Kakashi. Sasuke, you are very similar to me, whether it is from chakra attributes or Sharingan, so it is inevitable that there will be overlapping development paths. However, when you reach a certain level, you must try to find a path that belongs to yourself. After all, my path is only for my own. And you, Sasuke Uchiha, have your own way to become stronger, do you understand? Sasuke nodded and said, I understand, Kakashi-sensei. Very good. Now that the test is over, let's go eat together and celebrate. Kakashi said as he slammed his right foot to the ground hardly. And then, Sakura's and Sasuke's body instantly rise out of the ground. Yes. Kakashi-sensei. The teacher and the two students have not seen each other for 2 years, so this meal was naturally very pleasant. Sakura and Sasuke talked to Kakashi about what happened in the past 2 years, and Kakashi gave advices about the training of the two. As the night darkened, the three of them finally dispersed. Ah, it would be great if life could be like this forever. Kakashi then touched his left eye. He knew that this kind of life would not last for long. In the dark base underground, Obito is standing silently. Zetsu come out of the ground and said with a hoarse voice, "Obito, Kakashi has returned to Hidden Leaf Village." When Obito heard this, his body shook a little and he said, "Oh? After disappearing for 2 years, is he finally back? Do you know where he went for these past 2 years?" Zetsu answered, "I don't know. Kakashi went out with Hiraishin no Jutsu, Flying Thunder God Jutsu, this time, so I couldn't track him at all." Hiraishin no Jutsu? It's a really troublesome ninjutsu, Obito coldly said. He still remembers the damage that ninjutsu brought him. That was the only time he was injured after becoming the fake Madara Uchiha. Then, is there any change in Kakashi? Obito asked. The distance is too far for me to feel it. It seems that he is a little different, but I can't really tell. Forget it, leave him alone. He is just a loser. How about Akatsuki? Everything is going smoothly. The fundraising is about to come to an end. After another year, we should be able to enter the final stage. Very good, I finally reached this point. Obito, what should I do next? You should help Akatsuki. Continue to inquire the information about Tailed Beast and then when the time is right, the Akatsuki can start to collect it. Okay. After Zetsu finished speaking, he sank into the ground again. In the darkness, Obito's right eye is very scarlet, and the black tomoe is slowly spinning. Kakashi, we will meet again soon. I wonder what are you gonna do when we met? The underground base once again fell into silence. The Judo Mazo is standing there, seems to be waiting for something. At the Hokage Tower, Tsunade frowned as she looked at the scroll in front of her. Shizune, go and call Kakashi. Oh, okay. Shizune went to Anbu base and summoned Kakashi to the Hokage Tower. Kakashi felt that something is bit strange, but still go to the Hokage Tower. Lady Tsunade, what's the matter? Kakashi asked. Tsunade didn't answer, but threw a scroll to Kakashi. This is? Look at it. Kakashi opened the scroll in confusion. He then saw that this scroll is about someone asking for help. Kakashi's pupils shrank after reading the content. Is Shikaku-senpai and his team in trouble? Kakashi asked in low voice. Yeah, maybe so. For someone like Shikaku to ask for help, it seems that they are in serious trouble. Didn't he go to the Land of Flowers? Kakashi muttered. Look at this next. Tsunade handed another scroll to Kakashi. Kakashi took a look. He instantly frowned, and said, Orochimaru also went to the Land of Flowers. Yes, Shikaku's troubles are very likely to be related to Orochimaru. The only one in the village who can fight against Orochimaru is you. Also, Karen and Jugo who are on Shikaku's team are also your students. So, I will leave it to you. Okay. Kakashi answered. Right, for this mission, I want you to bring Sasuke and Sakura with you. I understand. Good, you can go, Tsunade said. Kakashi nodded and disappeared from the Hokage's office. Shizune who is on the side then asked, Lady Tsunade, what's One Tail's mission this time? How can it attract Orochimaru to go there? It is related to an artifact, so Orochimaru naturally would go there. What? Artifact? Shizune said in surprise. Chapter 380 Release the seal at Sasuke's house. Sasuke was getting to go out. Seeing this, Fugaku asked, Sasuke, where are you going? Sasuke turned around and said, San, I am going to perform mission with Kakashi-sensei and Sakura. Oh? Is Kakashi going on a mission? It's really rare. Fuyu was a little surprised. Logically speaking, for someone at Kakashi level, there is almost no need to perform mission. Unless it is their own request, also perhaps some special mission. But if it's a special mission, he shouldn't bring Sasuke. Yeah, Kakashi-sensei didn't elaborate and just told us go to the 7th training field, and then we would go out of the village, Sasuke said. In that case, you can go. Fugaku said. Yes, San. Please tell Kasan about this. Don't worry. Hearing this, Sasuke finished packing his ninja bag and go out of the house. Looking at Sasuke's back, Fugaku smiled. Although Sasuke is not as good as Itachi, Fugaku is very pleased to see Sasuke's growth right now. I wonder how far Sasuke can grow under Kakashi's training. Moreover, looking at Kakashi's previous actions, I am afraid that there will be a big war in the future. The Uchiha clan should also be prepared. Fugaku muttered softly. And then, it seemed that he has made a decision and left the house. The three-member of Team Kakashi assembled at the 7th training field at this time. This time, our mission is to go to the Land of Flowers to support Shikaku-senpai's Team 9. Although the specific situation is not clear, our opponent this time is probably Hidden Leaf Village's missing nin, one of the former Sannin, or Orochimaru. Kakashi said. Sakura and Sasuke were shocked when they heard this, as they didn't expect their opponent this time would be that guy. The encounter in the Forest of Death back then made the two of them have a deep impression of this name, and it can even be said that they are a little fearful of Orochimaru. Sasuke touched his neck, and there is a mark there. It was the cursed seal that Orochimaru planted on Sasuke. Kakashi hasn't mastered the senjutsu of Richie Cave when Sasuke got this cursed seal, so he couldn't do anything about this cursed seal. Seeing Sasuke's action, Kakashi asked, Sasuke, has the cursed seal on your neck caused any trouble for these 2 years? Sasuke shook his head and said, no, Kakashi's seal is very strong. So there is no problem with the cursed seal. When Kakashi sealed Sasuke's cursed seal, Kakashi was afraid that the effect of evil sealing method was not enough, so he specially added the senjutsu chakra. Therefore, it is normal for the cursed seal to not react at all. Kakashi thought for a while, and then said, Sasuke, Orochimaru's unique chakra is mixed in this cursed seal, so it is not easy to expel. However, this cursed seal also contains terrifying power, which is like a double-edged sword. Before, your strength was too weak, so I was afraid that you could not control it. But seeing your growth, I believe you can do it now. Therefore, I plan to weaken the seal a bit so that you can release cursed seal's power. Hearing this, Sasuke didn't show excited expression, and asked, Kakashi-sensei, is this cursed seal's power the same as Jugo? Kakashi nodded and said, yes, Orochimaru's cursed seal is originally based on Richie Cave's senjutsu, but it was perfected after getting Jugo's blood. Therefore, this cursed seal has the power of the sage like Jugo. Hearing this, Sasuke could not help but remember about the times when Jugo fight before. In that form, he is really strong, and normal Jonin is not his opponent at all. I understand, then please do it Kakashi-sensei, Sasuke said. Sakura asked with some concern, Kakashi-sensei, is this really okay? I heard that this cursed seal will erode human's body. Kakashi smiled and said, if Sasuke is still weak, such problem does exist, but with Sasuke's current strength, it is more than enough to resist the erosion of the cursed seal, and fighting against this erosion will make Sasuke grow even stronger. It turns out to be like that. Sakura nodded. Don't worry, I will add another protection outside the seal. If Sasuke can't control the cursed seal, this protection can restrain it, Kakashi said. That would be great. Sakura joyfully said. Okay then, let's start. Sasuke sat down cross-legged. Kakashi then stood behind him and formed hand seals, and then, he gently pressed his palm at the cursed seal on Sasuke's neck. Kai! Kakashi shouted in a low voice. At this moment, the round rune instantly began to fade, but it did not completely disappear. The originally circle becomes 3 arcs. Upon seeing this, Kakashi retracted his palm and said, okay, Sasuke, do you feel any difference? Hearing this, Sasuke stood up and showed an excited expression. This feeling. It's as if there is a powerful force suddenly added to my body. Sasuke said, and the marks began to crawl out of the cursed seal, and then Sasuke's body was covered with the marks. Sakura was surprised and said, Kakashi-sensei, this is the normal case when using cursed seal, and Jugo also has such signs, Kakashi explained. Kozakura was stunned when she heard this. But, when she thought about it carefully, she remembered that it seemed that it was indeed the case when Jugo used this trick on the Chunin exam. Sasuke didn't mind the marks on his body, but clenched his fist with excitement. This power is really formidable. The power that cursed seal can provide to the user is not fixed, but multiplies according to user's own abilities. It's like Sage Mode. In fact, plainly speaking, cursed seal is a simple version of the Sage Mode. Sasuke hit the ground with a punch, and instantly, a large crack was formed on the ground. Sakura was surprised when she saw this, and said, it's so strong. It is almost as strong as my chakra enhanced strength sponge. It feels great. Sasuke said joyfully. Kakashi smiled and said, Sasuke, with your current strength, you can only use this cursed seal for 10 minutes. If you enter level 2 form, you can only use it for 3 minutes. If you exceed the time, it will cause damage to your body, so you must remember it well. Hearing this, Sasuke exited the cursed seal's mode and said, yes, Kakashi-sensei. Well, Let's leave the cursed seals thing here for the time being. We shouldn't make Shikaku-senpai and the others wait too long. Yes. Kakashi-sensei. Sasuke and Sakura said in unison. Team Kakashi officially set off. The Land of Flowers is a small country. Even small shinobi village does not exist in this country. Such a country can only be reduced to a battlefield during wartime. And this time, the mission location is precisely this country. It has been half a month since Shikaku came to this country with a Team 9, but in this half a month, he hasn't completed the mission yet. It is because there is some change in the mission. Strong enemies appeared in this country one after another. Chapter 381 The Land of Flowers. Shikaku-sensei, what should we do next? We don't know where these people came from, but their strength is really powerful. Uchiha Houten said. Houten, don't worry, I have already asked the village for help, so there will be reinforcements coming soon. Shikaku said with a smile. Really? That's great. Uchiha Houten joyfully said. Speaking of which, this reinforcement is someone that Jugo and Karen very familiar with. Shikaku said, looking at the two people who were silent. Karen and Jugo were stunned when they heard this, and they were a little puzzled. Karen then said, someone that I and Jugo very familiar with? Is there anyone like that in Hidden Leaf Village? Naruto has left Hidden Leaf Village with Lord Jiraiya for almost 2 years, and no one knows where Big Brother Kakashi went to. It seems that a certain possibility appeared in Karen's and Jugo's mind. At this moment, they showed happy expression. At this time, the reinforcements coming over naturally cannot be Naruto. Although they didn't know how strong Naruto is after training for these 2 years, they know that he certainly does not have the strength to solve their current predicament. Then, there is only one person left in Karen's and Jugo's mind. Is it Big Brother Kakashi? Karen asked in surprise. Shikaku smiled and nodded. Yes, it is Kakashi. Really? That's great. Karen said joyfully, and at the same time, she looked at Shigeo and said, Jugo. Big Brother Kakashi is back. Yeah. Big Brother Kakashi is finally back. The two have never left Kakashi for so long since they followed Kakashi back to Hidden Leaf Village. Even if Kakashi went out before, it was never as long as this time. Moreover, usually Kakashi will write a letter to them from time to time when he left, but this time, he didn't send anything. It's like Kakashi suddenly disappeared from this world. Had it not been for Kakashi's strength and that these two had enough confidence in Kakashi, they would really think that Kakashi is in trouble. Ah! What a mess! Karen suddenly shouted, making the other 3 people looked at her strangely. Shikaku asked, what's wrong? Karen then said with a weeping expression, when Big Brother Kakashi left back then, he told us that he hoped that after he came back, we would all become Jonin, but right now, me and Jugo are still Chunin. After hearing this, Jugo also remembered about this matter, and felt a little uneasy. Yeah. I almost forget about it. We let Big Brother Kakashi down. Jugo said as his expression also changed. Seeing this, Shikaku was taken aback and immediately said with a smile, do not worry, Kakashi will not blame you. After all, he said that he will be back after 3 years. So it's not your fault as this is still 2 years. That's true, but for us to not complete the goal given by Big Brother Kakashi, I still feel a little unwilling. Karen muttered. Don't worry, none of your generation have become a Jonin, so Kakashi won't blame you. Besides, becoming a Jonin not only needs strength, it also needs accumulation of completing missions. Although your strength is almost enough, your mission accumulation is still not enough, Shikaku said. It is true that there is a Chunin exam for promotion to become a Chunin, but there is no Jonin exam for the promotion to become a Jonin. On one hand, because Chunin is already the main strength component of a village, holding the Jonin exam will inevitably lead to death to a lot of Chunin. No shinobi village would be happy to see such unnecessary casualties. On the other hand, the transition from Chunin to Jonin is not only a matter of strength, but also an issue of experience. Naruto in the original work has become the strongest person after fighting Kaguya, but he didn't directly become a Jonin. It is because he still didn't have enough experience to become a Jonin. It can be seen that the gap between Jonin and Chunin is mainly not in strength, but in experience. Of course, to accumulate the experience to become a Jonin, the mission taken needs the strength of a Jonin to complete. Therefore, there is no fear that Chunin without strength will become a Jonin. Although Shikaku's explanation is true, Karen and Jugo still feel a little worried. Shikaku felt a little helpless when he saw this. Kakashi's position in these two's minds are too high, that's why this situation happens. In this regard, Shikaku can only express envy. After all, it is a happy thing to get such admiration from the younger generation. Then why, as your instructor, I don't see you being so caring about what I say. Shikaku couldn't help but silently complain in his heart. Karen and Jugo are caught in the emotions of expectation and fear, and cannot calm themselves. At this moment, Kakashi, Sasuke, and Sakura are already on their way to the Land of Flowers. Suddenly, Kakashi stopped and said, "The Land of Flowers is in front of us." Sasuke and Sakura also stopped when they heard this. Seeing the scenery in front of her, Sakura exclaimed, "Wow! So beautiful. The name is really fitting. At first glance, there are flowers all over the place." The Land of Flowers is called this is because the environment here is very suitable for flower planting, so there are countless flowers blooming all year round, decorating this country. And this kind of beautiful scenery, for most women, is irresistible. "It is indeed a very beautiful country," Kakashi exclaimed. When Kakashi traveled back then, he also came to this country. He was also surprised by the country's appearance when he saw it for the first time. If it weren't for things that need to be done, Kakashi really wanted to live in this country. Well, as for Sasuke, he didn't feel much even after seeing the beautiful scenery. "Okay, let's go. Shikaku-senpai is still waiting for us." "Yes. Kakashi-sensei." Sasuke and Sakura said in unison. Just when the three of them were about to enter the Land of Flowers, Kakashi heard something and immediately said, "Be careful. There is an enemy attack." Sasuke and Sakura immediately increased their vigilance upon hearing this, and formed a D-shaped formation with Kakashi. "Oh? Very good perception. It seems that this time is not a normal trash." A low voice sounded, and then 8 shinobi suddenly appeared, surrounding Team Kakashi. "Who are you?" Kakashi said while frowning. "The three of us have not entered the Land of Flowers, and yet, we have been ambushed. Just how bad is the situation in the Land of Flowers?" "Who am I?" "You don't need to know, because soon, you will become a dead person." "Ha ha ha." The person who spoke is a middle-aged shinobi, with a strong body and an arrogant appearance. Hearing this, Sasuke said with disdain, "Just with you guys? Little brat, you sure are very arrogant. Let me show you how I sent you all to hell. Everyone, attack!" The middle-aged shinobi shout. Upon seeing this, Kakashi knew that it would be impossible to avoid the battle. "Sasuke, Sakura, leave that man to me, as for the rest, you can do whatever you want." "Yes." Kakashi-sensei. As soon as the voice fell, the three of them scattered in an instant. Chapter 382 The situation. A cold long sword was placed on the middle-aged shinobi's neck. The middle-aged shinobi looked at the man with the sword in front of him, with a look of horror and fear in his eyes. Next to him, his companions have already fallen into ground with a pool of blood, and Sakura and Sasuke are already standing next to Kakashi. Obviously, the battle was over. Team Kakashi were unscathed, and the opponent's shinobi was wiped out. You. Who are you?" the middle-aged shinobi asked nervously. Kakashi looked at the middle-aged shinobi coldly, and said, "You don't even know me, but you still dare to stop us like this. Tell me, who are you?" The middle-aged shinobi swallowed saliva and looked at Kakashi carefully. Suddenly, the middle-aged shinobi seemed to think of something, and his body began to tremble. He then stutteringly said, "Could it be that you are Kakashi Hatake? Hidden Leaf Village's Kakashi Hatake? Oh? It seems that you are not very ignorant, but what I am asking now is, who are you?" Kakashi said coldly, and the sword in his hand moved lightly. Instantly, there was a small blood stain on the middle-aged shinobi's neck. "Please stop, I'll say everything," the middle-aged shinobi said fearfully. At this time, the middle-aged shinobi felt that he is really unlucky. According to the rumor, Kakashi Hatake has left Hidden Leaf Village for more than a year, so what is he doing here? How can I meet him here? Did he also come here for that? A wave of fear surged in the middle-aged shinobi's heart. If that is the case, can this mission still be completed? In the entire shinobi world, who can take things from Kakashi Hatake's hands? Thinking of this, the middle-aged shinobi felt really helpless. In an instant, the middle-aged shinobi thought about a lot of things, and of course, Kakashi did not know about these thoughts. "Tell me, who are you, where are you from, and what are you doing here? Why do you want to kill me? If you try to lie, don't blame me for being ruthless," Kakashi said coldly. "Well, the truth is, I'm from the Fuma clan. This time, I came to the Land of Flowers to seize an artifact. There were people from Hidden Leaf Village who blocked us before, but we were able to repel them. We estimate that Hidden Leaf Village will send supports. So I was sent here to stop you. But, I didn't expect." Kakashi frowned and said, "Fuma clan? Are you Orochimaru's subordinate?" The middle-aged shinobi was surprised and said, "How do you know?" "Sure enough." "So, did Orochimaru also come here?" Kakashi asked. "This. I don't know," the middle-aged shinobi said while gritting his teeth. Compared with Kakashi's legendary fame, the middle-aged shinobi is more afraid of Orochimaru, because he has personally experienced the horror of Orochimaru. If he betrayed Orochimaru, he is afraid that it will be more uncomfortable than death. After all, it should be known that Orochimaru has thousands of ways to torture people. Looking at the expression of the middle-aged shinobi, Kakashi knew that this guy must know something, but he refused to say it. In that case, Kakashi naturally won't be polite. He takes back his sword and, then hit the neck of middle-aged shinobi with a hand knife. The middle-aged shinobi then groaned, and fell down. Kakashi-sensei, this guy refuses to tell us the information. What should we do? Sakura asked. As he doesn't want to say it, we naturally have to find a way to make him say it, Kakashi said. How to do that? Sakura wondered. Kakashi didn't answer, but looked at Sasuke. Sasuke was stunned and immediately said, I understand, leave it to me. After Sasuke finished speaking, the chakra in his body moved. The scarlet eyes appeared immediately, and the three tomoe kept spinning. When it comes to asking questions, Sharingan is definitely very useful. Sasuke grabbed the middle-aged shinobi and opened his eyelids. Ganjutsu was immediately reflected on his eyes. It turned out to be using Sharingan's Ganjutsu. It's really a good idea. Hey, Kakashi-sensei, why don't you do it yourself? Don't you also have Sharingan? If you do it directly, won't it be better? Sakura asked in confusion. Kakashi smiled and said, well, the reason I leave it to Sasuke is because it is also an exercise for him, which can make him use Sharingan more skillfully. So it's like that. Kakashi-sensei is really thoughtful. Kakashi could only smile when he heard Sakura's words. It's not like that's the only reason. Right now, I can't use Sharingan at all. Right now, Kakashi's left eye is just a decoration. No, it's not even a decoration, because it has been covered by the forehead protector. Not long after, Sasuke released his Sharingan and put down the middle-aged shinobi. Sasuke, what's the situation? Kakashi asked. Sasuke looked a little serious and said, Orochimaru seems to have come. According to the information in this guy's mind, Orochimaru should be coming here within these 2 days. And, the number of Orochimaru's subordinates who's coming this time is about 24 people. As a few of them is already dead here, there are still more than a dozen of them left. The leader's name is Guren, followed by the sound 5, but it seems that only 4 have come. Guren and the sound 4? Interesting. No wonder Shikaku-senpai is asking for help. If these 5 people work together, they can really cause considerable trouble to Shikaku-senpai. Kakashi muttered. Kakashi-sensei, do you know these 5 people? Sakura asked curiously. Well, I know about them a little. This Guren is the owner of a KK Genkai, and it is a rare KK Genkai called Crystal Release. This KK Genkai can convert any matter except chakra into crystals. It is a very terrifying ninjutsu. Kakashi explained. KK Genkai? Sasuke murmured, with a bit of excitement on his face. After all, fighting against strong opponent is really Sasuke's wish. Only with fighting against strong opponent can he continue to improve. As for the sound 4, they all have Orochimaru's cursed seal on their body, but it is not as good as Sasuke's cursed seal. But they are more proficient in using it, so they were also opponents that should not be underestimated. Each of these 5 people has Jonin level strength. It seems that our opponents are not weak this time, so be careful, Kakashi said. Sakura's and Sasuke's expression turned serious when they heard this. After all, from Kakashi's description about these people, they were naturally not weak. However, Sasuke and Sakura did not have much fear. These people may be really strong, but they are not weak. In a one-on-one fight, it is unknown who would wins and loses. Okay, let's go rendezvous with Shikaku-senpai first. They will be together. As for this guy, Sasuke, carry him on your back and take him with us. Sasuke looked at the middle-aged shinobi and instinctively resisted, but as Kakashi said so, he naturally can't oppose it. Yes. Kakashi-sensei. Then, the group of 3, plus the captive, continued on their way again. Chapter 383 The Second Kusanagi Sword. The Land of Flowers, Daimyo's Mansion. At this time, Team 9 is living here. This mission is also the commission of the Daimyo of the Land of Flowers. Shikakudano, these shinobi which come out of nowhere, wiped out a small village in my country yesterday. If this continues, the Land of Flowers will not be able to survive. The Daimyo said angrily. Anyone who sees such a group of shinobi wantonly killing people in their own country will not feel happy. Even if it is a kind country like the Land of Flowers. Hearing this, Shikaku sighed and said, Daimyo Dano, I'm sorry, but with our current strength, we won't be able to fight against them. There are so many of them, and their strength is also not weak. Right now, we can only wait for Hidden Leaf Village to send in support. That, we can start to counterattack. Hidden Leaf Village's support? Shikaku Dano, when will the person you mentioned come? The daimyo asked impatiently. They should be coming soon, at most 2 days later, Shikaku said. Really? That's good then. Shikaku Dano, please, I don't want to see the people of my country to be hurt by these beasts anymore. The daimyo said solemnly. Do not worry, Daimyo Dano, as soon as our reinforcement arrives, we will start the counterattack immediately. Shikaku promised. That's good. Hearing this, the daimyo was a little relieved. After all, the daimyo knew about Hidden Leaf Village's reputation. Therefore, with Shikaku's assurance, the daimyo was relieved. At this time, a soldier ran in and said, Lord Daimyo, there are 3 shinobi outside who claim to be from Hidden Leaf Village, coming here to find Shikaku-sama. Hearing this, Shikaku felt a little relieved and said, Daimyo Dano, they should be the reinforcements from Hidden Leaf Village. Hearing Shikaku's words, the daimyo was overjoyed and said, okay. Bring them in quickly. Yes. Lord Daimyo. The soldier left and then brings the 3 shinobi to the mansion. When Shikaku sees the 3 shinobi, he said with a smile, Kakashi, you are finally here, we have been waiting for you for a long time. Sorry to keep you waiting, Shikaku-senpai. There was an ambush on the way, which wasted some time. Kakashi said with a smile. Shikaku frowned. He looked at the unconscious man Sasuke was carrying, and then said, ambush? Did they intercept you on the road? Kakashi nodded, said, yes, there are 8 people in total. Except for this person, the rest have been completely wiped out by us. The daimyo was overjoyed when he heard that. He didn't expect that Hidden Leaf Village's reinforcements would kill so many enemies as soon as they arrive. He knew that he didn't wait in vain. Wait, Kakashi? That name is so familiar. I seem to have heard it somewhere before. Hearing this, Shikaku smiled and said, I didn't expect these people to move so fast to ambush you, but they sure are unlucky. Shikaku-senpai, I was the one who was ambushed, so why did you say that they are the one who are unlucky? Kakashi complainingly said. Shikaku laughed and said, with just these people, I'm afraid that it is not enough to ambush you, Kakashi. Shikaku-senpai sure is very confident of me. Kakashi didn't know whether to cry or laugh after hearing that. If I don't have confidence in Kakashi Hatake, then I really don't know who I should have confidence in. Shikaku said with a smile. Kakashi Hatake? The daimyo was shocked after hearing this. He quickly stood up and walked over to Kakashi. He then said, You are Kakashi Hatake? The one known as the copy ninja and Hidden Leaf Village's strongest genius, Kakashi Hatake? The exaggerated expression on the daimyo's face made Kakashi a little bit overwhelmed, but he still replied, That's me. Why are you asking me like that, Daimyo Dano? The daimyo was overjoyed and said, Great. If it is Kakashi Dano, the troubles my country is having can definitely be solved. Kakashi Dano, please. You must defeat those shameless shinobi. Hearing this, Kakashi answered, Don't worry, Daimyo Dano, since Hidden Leaf Village has taken this mission, we'll be responsible to end it. That's great. I'll have a banquet for Kakashi Dano. Seeing the daimyo was about to do something, Kakashi quickly said, Daimyo Dano, don't be anxious like that. I will first discuss with Shikaku-senpai about how to resolve the matter. As for the banquet you said, let's wait until we have resolved the matter before we hold it. Good, then I'll leave everything to Kakashi Dano and Shikaku Dano. Please be assured, Daimyo Dano, Kakashi said. That's good, I am completely relieved after hearing your assurance. Kakashi Dano, Shikaku Dano, then you guys can discuss the matter, I will leave first. The daimyo said. Okay. The daimyo left happily. Then, Shikaku smiled and said, Your reputation sure is different, Kakashi. After hearing your name, the Land of Flowers daimyo immediately feels confident in us. Unlike me. Shikaku-senpai, please stop teasing me. Kakashi said helplessly. Sasuke and Sakura on the side were also full of admiration for Kakashi after seeing the daimyo's reaction. They didn't expect that Kakashi would have such a great reputation in such a remote place. Just hearing Kakashi's name is enough to make the daimyo to be so relieved. It can be seen that how powerful Kakashi's name actually is. Okay, let's stop talking about this. Let's talk about business. Shikaku said with a serious look. Kakashi nodded and said, Shikaku-senpai, I just learned from this captive here that this time, 4 of Sound 5, Girin and some hidden Sound village as shinobi come here. And also, Orochimaru seems to be on the way here. Hearing this, Shikaku frowned and said, Orochimaru is coming too? It seems that he also attaches great importance to this matter. Indeed, Orochimaru doesn't leave his base easily. For him to leave, It shows that this thing is very attractive to him, Kakashi said. Yes, it seems that Orochimaru is unwilling to give up on this artifact. Shikaku muttered. By the way, Shikaku-senpai, the letter you wrote also mentioned about the artifact. What exactly is it? Kakashi asked curiously. Hearing this, Sasuke and Sakura who were on the sides also looked at Shikaku very curiously. Shikaku said, it's the Kusanagi sword. The Kusanagi sword? Kakashi frowned. Yes, it's the Kusanagi sword. I remember that Orochimaru should have a Kusanagi sword in his hand already. Why did he also want this one? Kakashi asked in confusion. I don't know, but there's some sort of legend about Kusanagi sword in this country. Perhaps it was because Orochimaru may have heard about this legend that he has the thought to attack the Land of Flowers. It is said that the secret of this Kusanagi sword is being kept by 3 people in 3 villages. And these days, 3 villages in the Land of Flowers have been destroyed. It should be the village where the secret of this Kusanagi sword is being kept in the legend. So it's like that. It seems that Orochimaru is really interested in the so-called Kusanagi sword. Kakashi murmured, and then seemed to think of something. He then looked at Sasuke. If I remember correctly, in the original work, after Sasuke followed Orochimaru, he did have the so-called Kusanagi sword. Is it this one? Kakashi secretly thought. Chapter 384 Giran and the Sound For somewhere in the Land of Flowers, the shinobi of Hidden Sound Village gathered in a small village. Giran-sama, Kyo and the others who were sent to intercept Hidden Leaf Village's reinforcements today have not come back yet, and there is also no news from them. On the contrary, someone from the daimyo's mansion in the Land of Flowers sent some information back, saying that 3 Hidden Leaf Villages shinobi had entered the daimyo's mansion. At the same time, these 3 Hidden Leaf Villages shinobi also brought a shinobi wearing Kyo's clothes with them. It should be him. The one this shinobi is talking to is Giran, who is wearing green clothes and has dark blue hair. At this time, Giran is completely different from the Giran that Kakashi had seen in Hidden Sound Village before. She has grown up, and looked very cold. Her pair of eyes emits cold light. Oh? It seems that trash Kyo not only failed to intercept Hidden Leaf Village as shinobi, but his team were also completely wiped out by the other party. He sure is useless. Giran said coldly. Giran-sama is right. The shinobi muttered. Giran, now is not to say these things. Lord Orochimaru will be here soon, but we haven't found the whereabouts of the Kusanagi sword. If this continued, it won't be easy to explain it to Lord Orochimaru. Suken said coldly. Humphrey, I don't need you to tell me those things. Giran said while snorting coldly. Giran. Lord Orochimaru chooses you to be the leader this time. If this continued, when Lord Orochimaru arrives, I'm afraid that you will be the first one he scold. Tayuya said with a sneer. You guys are my subordinate right now, so you just need to obediently do what I say, and that's it. If you are not convinced, you can complain about it to Lord Orochimaru. Giran said coldly. She then turned and left. Damn it. That woman is getting more and more arrogant, said Kidomaru. After Kimimaro was taken away for secret training by Lord Orochimaru, this woman relied on the trust of Lord Orochimaru to order us around. It is too much. Tayuya said angrily. She and Giran are both women, and Tayuya also thinks that she is not inferior to Giran, she may be even stronger than Giran. But Orochimaru favors Giran more, which makes Tayuya feels very unhappy. In fact, it's not just her, the other Sound 4 is also very unhappy about this. Well, Tayuya, Kidomaru, that Giran is in position of power, so it makes no sense for us to fight her right now. If we messed up Lord Orochimaru's plan, we will be the one who's gonna be unlucky. Right now, what we need to do is to find the Kusanagi sword in advance and show Lord Orochimaru our ability. At that time, we will also get Lord Orochimaru's attention. Suken said calmly. Although Suken is usually hot-tempered, but at critical moments, he has a different calmness. Suken is right, but the information about this Kusanagi sword is still unclear, and the information about the 3rd village has not been found yet. Tayuya muttered. At this time, Suken revealed a smile and said, actually, I already found the 3rd village yesterday, and I took some people to destroy it. What? You already found it? Why didn't you tell us about it? Kidomaru was stunned. If too many people know about it, Giran will definitely know. Now that I have the 3rd clue, coupled with the previous 2, we can already set out to look for the Kusanagi sword. Lord Orochimaru should arrive tomorrow afternoon. So we still have time to find it ourselves. Let's go together. We will be the one who find the Kusanagi sword. Suken said excitedly. Tayuya, Kidomaru, and Jirobo were all a little excited when they heard this. In their opinion, if they get the Kusanagi sword earlier than Giran, they would get more trust from Orochimaru. At that time, They don't have to continue as Guren's subordinate anymore. Good job. Second, we will set off when it gets dark. We must not let Guren find out about it. Of course. I have already prepared. Second said with a smile. What the four of them didn't notice was that not far from their location, Guren is hiding her presence, listening to all of this quietly. Those four are really idiots. Did they think that I really didn't know that Second went to destroy the third village? Since you are so enthusiastic, you can go first. When the time comes, I will be the one who will get the Kusanagi sword. Yeah, I am the only person that Lord Orochimaru will favor. You guys are only my stepping stones. Guren sneered and left that place. In Daimyo's mansion, Kakashi and the other three met the other members of Team 9. Big brother Kakashi. As soon as Guren saw Kakashi, she quickly rushed over. But she seemed to think of something, and didn't hug Kakashi directly like before, but said embarrassedly, Big brother Kakashi, it's been a long time since I last saw you. Kakashi was taken aback. Seeing Karen's restraint, he couldn't help feeling that it is a bit funny. This girl seems to have grown up, and now she has the reservedness of a girl, and she won't climb onto my body as she did before. Seeing such a change, Kakashi is somewhat lost, but he felt more gratified. Kakashi stepped forward and patted Karen's head. He then said, It looks like you have grown up, Karen. Of course. Big brother Kakashi, I am amazing now. Karen, who really enjoys being spoiled by Kakashi, said proudly. Kakashi smiled and said nothing. And at this time Jugo also stepped forward and said, Big brother Kakashi, is everything going well? Jugo, I am back. Of course everything went well. Kakashi said with a smile. At this time, Jugo is 1.90 meters tall, taller than Kakashi, so Kakashi has to look up to see Jugo's face. That's great. Jugo smiled, and then he said apologetically, Big brother Kakashi, there is something I need to apologize to you. Kakashi was taken aback, and said, What's wrong? Back then, you said that you hope that after you come back, you can see that we all become Jonin, but we have not done it, I'm sorry. Jugo bowed deeply towards Kakashi, expressing his apology. Hearing this, Karen, Sasuke and Sakura also remembered about that, and they were all a little ashamed. Therefore, the three also bowed towards Kakashi at the same time and said, I'm sorry. Kakashi-sensei, Big brother Kakashi. Hearing this, Uchiha Hoten, who is on the side, was dumbfounded. What the hell is that, 3 years from Geinin to Jonin? That target is too crazy. When Kakashi saw this, he didn't know whether to cry or laugh and then said, It's okay, back then, I told you that I will be back in 3 years. There is still 1 year left, so you don't need to be ashamed about it. For now, let's talk about mission first. Shikaku smiled and said, Well, I have already told you that Kakashi will not blame you. The four of them were relieved when they heard this. They care so much about this because they have a deep affection for Kakashi. To not live up to Kakashi's expectations is the most uncomfortable thing for them. Chapter 385 Planning. Shikaku-senpai, do you have any clues where those people are? Kakashi asked. Shikaku didn't talk, but instead took out a piece of cloth rags, and said, We have fought against that group of people before. They are very strong. The four of us can only protect ourselves and can't make an effective counterattack, so I can only choose to retreat temporarily. I got this piece of cloth from their leader. Their leader? Is it a woman named Guren? Yes, it's her. I recall that you have ninja dog, Kakashi. With this piece of cloth, you should be able to find their location. Shikaku said with a smile. Shikaku-senpai really understands me, this piece of cloth is really enough to find them. Kakashi said, as he cut his right thumb with a kunai. Blood instantly oozed out, and then he formed hand seals. Summoning jutsu. Summoning jutsu, bang. 2 ninja dogs instantly appeared in front of Kakashi. One of them is Pakkun, and the other one is a hellhound. Unlike the other hellhounds, this hellhound is about the same size as Pakkun. It is black and white, with blue eyes. The most distinctive feature is that the brow is formed by 2 white hairs, which looks very cute. Unlike other hellhounds who have a strong body and attack power, Tetsuya is an auxiliary summon beast. Yo, Kakashi, long time no see, Pakkun said. Lord Kakashi, what is your order? Tetsuya also said. Kakashi smiled and said, Pakkun, Tetsuya, this is the fragment of the enemy's clothes this time. I want you two to go and find the trace of this person. After you find it, report to me immediately. After hearing this, Pakkun and Tetsuya moved towards the cloth and sniffed it. Then Pakkun said, Okay, Kakashi, no problem. Tetsuya also nodded his head, and then the 2 ninja dogs set out. Well, Shikaku-senpai, now we just need to wait for news, Kakashi said. Okay, Let's make a plan for the next step, Shikaku said. Well, this plan should naturally be handed over to Shikaku-senpai. After all, Shikaku-senpai is our Hidden Leaf Village's best strategist. Kakashi said with a smile. You brat, you're starting to shirk responsibility again. Okay, after all, this mission is my team's mission. It's already too much to ask for your help. I shall think of the plan myself. Shikaku smiled. As expected of Shikaku-senpai. You're really responsible, Kakashi said with a smile. You brat. Fine, let's talk about the plan. Shikaku's expression turned serious, and the 7 shinobi gathered together. The plan has long been in Shikaku's mind. As Hidden Leaf Village's best strategist, Shikaku has already thought about all the steps. According to the intelligence, Orochimaru should not have arrived yet, so the first thing we have to do is to get the Kusanagi sword. Although we don't know whether this Kusanagi sword is true or not, we cannot allow it to fall into Orochimaru's hands. Everyone nodded when they heard this. Now, the Hidden Sound Village's shinobi should have obtained the specific whereabouts of the Kusanagi sword, so they will definitely act immediately. When Kakashi's ninja dogs come back, we will follow after them. If the Hidden Sound Village's shinobi has already got the Kusanagi sword, we will immediately attack them and seize it. If they haven't got the Kusanagi sword yet, we will have to wait. Compared to taking the lead, it is more efficient to let them take the lead. Shikaku-sensei, are you not afraid that after the Hidden Sound Village's shinobi get the Kusanagi sword, they will retreat immediately? Karen asked. Shikaku smiled and said, Don't worry, Kakashi is here, so he won't let them run away. Isn't that right, Kakashi? Kakashi was a little helpless when he heard this. It seems that I will be the one responsible to take care of this matter. Shikaku-senpai is right, I will definitely won't let them get away with the Kusanagi sword. Well, from the information I got, except for the 8 people killed by Kakashi's team, there are about 17 Hidden Sound Villages shinobi left, including Guren and the Sound 4 which have Jonin level strength and above, so we need to be careful against them. At that time, I will hand over the Sound 4 to Sakura, Karen, Jugo and Houten. Sasuke will take care of Guren, and as for the others, me and Kakashi will take care of it. Hearing this, Kakashi took a look at Shikaku strangely. After all, it stands for a reason that Guren, who is the strongest, should be left to Kakashi or Shikaku to deal with. But now, Shikaku asked Sasuke to deal with Guren, which made Kakashi confused. As if seeing Kakashi's doubts, Shikaku smiled and said, The crystal release used by Guren is very strong, and normal ninjutsu can't deal with it. But, I found out that the crystal release has a weakness, and this weakness makes Sasuke to be the most appropriate opponent for Guren. Hearing this, Kakashi finally understood. Could it be that Shikaku-senpai's plan is? Unexpectedly, Sasuke said at this time, Shikaku-sensei, I defeat the opponent with my own ability, so you don't need to tell me the opponent's weakness. Shikaku was taken aback when he heard this, but he then smiled and said, Okay, good luck. Shikaku is a person who can understand someone's personality, so he naturally knows Sasuke's personality. Sasuke is proud in nature, so naturally he won't let others tell him what his enemy's weakness is. He has enough confidence in himself. Therefore, Sasuke will never accept Shikaku's information. In his view, it is unfair and a question of his own strength. Sasuke-kun, this. Is it okay? Sakura said with some concern. Don't worry, Sakura, I won't lose, Sasuke said firmly. Well, it's decided then. You guys should be more careful, after all, the other party is not weakling. Jugo, except for Guren, the Sound 4 should have a cursed seal similar to yours. Be careful. Kakashi said. Hearing this, Jugo smiled and said, Big brother Kakashi, you can rest assured. It's just some fake, so I will never lose. That's good. At this moment, Pakkun and Tetsuya finally get back. Kakashi, we have found the enemy, but they seem to be divided into 2 groups. 5 of them left the camp, and the rest stayed in the camp. And these 5 people are not together, the 4 of them are in the front and 1 person is following from far behind. The aura of these 5 people is very strong, Pakkun said. Oh? Did Guren and the Sound 4 leave the camp? Is there anything else? Kakashi frowned. I'm not sure, Pakkun said. Shikaku then said, In that case, let's change our plan. I will go to the enemy camp with Houten and kill the rest of Hidden Sound Village's shinobi. Kakashi, I want you to take Sasuke, Sakura, Karen and Jugo and find out what Guren and the Sound 4 are doing. If I didn't guess wrong, they should have gone to get the Kusanagi sword. Hearing this, Kakashi nodded and said, Okay, then it is decided. Pakkun, take Shikaku-senpai and Houten to the enemy's camp. Tetsuya, I want you to take us to find those 5 people. Yes, Lord Kakashi. Tetsuya responded. Then, Shikaku-san, come with me, Pak-kun said. Sorry to trouble you, Pak-kun, Shikaku said. Pak-kun then left with Shikaku and Houten, while Kakashi and the rest followed after Tetsuya. Chapter 386 Infighting the Flower Mountain that is located somewhere in the Land of Flowers, is the largest mountain range in the Land of Flowers. Here is the precious wealth of the Land of Flowers, and many of the economic developments of the Land of Flowers originate from this mountain range. The Flower Mountain at night is perilous. The people of the Land of Flowers would not choose to enter the mountain at night, because there are a lot of beasts that move at night. But today is different. Soon after the night has just fallen, 4 people ran into the Flower Mountain. Their clothes are weird and they didn't look like normal people, but their movements are quick and no one noticed them. And not far behind them, there was a girl in green clothes with dark blue hair following. Sukin, are you really sure that thing is in this mountain range? Kidomaru asked casually as a beast attacked him. Don't worry, there is no mistake. According to the clues I obtained, there should be a cave in front of us. Inside that cave, there is a passage leading to the Kusanagi sword. Sukin replied. Okay, let's hurry up. If we leave the base camp for too long, it is estimated that Guren will be suspicious, and things will probably be troublesome. Jirobo, especially you, move faster you fatty. Tayuya said. When Jirobo heard this, he became slightly angry, and yelled, Tayuya. Don't call me fatty. You too, now is not the time to quarrel. You can fight after we got the Kusanagi sword. Kidomaru scolded. Tayuya and Jirobo glared at each other, and then, both of them turned their heads away. They still clearly distinguish their priorities right now. Okay, everyone speed up. Sukin said. This group of 4 people then continued to move in this quiet mountain. Kakashi and others also came to the entrance of the Flower Mountain under Tetsuya's lead. Lord Kakashi, they have entered this mountain range. Tetsuya said. Hearing this, Kakashi looked at the deep mountain in the dark while squinting his eye, and then he said, this mountain is really quiet. Big brother Kakashi, this mountain is called the Flower Mountain. It is an important mountain range for the Land of Flowers. I've heard people from the daimyo's mansion said that there are a lot of beasts here at night, so no one will come to this mountain during the night. After all, the Land of Flowers didn't have shinobi village. Karen said. So it's like that. It seems that we have to be careful. The beasts at night are very fierce. Remember, we need to keep quiet. If you are attacked by beasts, don't use ninjutsu, use kunai or other cold weapons to kill the beast. Do you understand? Kakashi said. Understand. Everyone responded. Okay, let's continue. In the woods, Kakashi and others stopped, and in front of them is a lone wolf who had just died not long ago. It seems that they indeed passed by here. This wolf should not have been dead for more than half an hour. Let's go, Kakashi said. Walking along the way, the kunai of Kakashi's group was also stained with some blood. At night in this Flower Mountain, there are indeed beasts, and there is more than one. Even though they were already very careful, they still encountered a lot of beasts on the way. Lord Kakashi, the cave at the front is where their smell disappears. Tetsuya stopped and said. The cave was pitch black, without any slightest of light, as if it were a huge mouth that was waiting to devour people. There is a slight chakra fluctuation in the cave. Someone must have entered it, Kakashi said. Big brother Kakashi, I feel that there seems to be chakra fluctuation from some seals in this cave, Karen said. Oh? It seems that the Kusanagi sword might really be inside. Kakashi's strength at this time was a little weakened, so his perception for seal was not as sensitive as Karen's. Karen is a member of the Uzumaki clan, which is a good bloodline that has a high talent for fu-injutsu. Coupled with Kakashi's deliberate training, her fu-injutsu mastery is already not low at this time, therefore, her perception of the seal will not be wrong. Stay alert everyone. Let's follow up and have a look inside, Kakashi said. Everyone nodded silently, and they were all ready to fight at any time. Inside the cave. Sukin, we have reached the end of this cave, but why is there nothing here? Tayuya asked. Don't worry, this cave is just a road leading to the Kusanagi sword. If the Kusanagi sword was placed here, it would have been taken away long ago. So where's the Kusanagi sword? Sukin did not answer, but went to the front of the stone wall and looked around. What is that Sukin doing? Jirobu complained. He should be looking for the entrance. Sukin is right. If the Kusanagi sword was placed here so blatantly, it would have been taken away long ago, so it must be protected by something like a seal. Kidomaru said. At this moment, Sukin's movements stopped. He revealed a smile, and said, found it. Forming a hand seal with his hands, he then said, Kai. Pressing his right hand on a square stone slab, a burst of white light then flashed. Everyone covered their eyes from the light. It's too bright. Kidomaru shouted. The white light quickly dissipated, and a square gap appeared in the stone wall, which is more than 2 meters high and 1 meter wide. It appeared. This is the entrance to the place where Kusanagi's sword is located, let's go in. Suken said. The other three were also overjoyed when they saw this. The entrance of the cave is not big, so they enter one by one. Inside it is a big open space. This place is really big. I wonder where the Kusanagi sword is located. Teyuya shouted. It should be right in front. The intelligence said that the Kusanagi sword is placed on a stone platform. It is so open here, so it should be easy to find it. Suken said. Well, let's split up to find it. Kidomaru said. The group of 4 instantly split up and began to look for the location of the Kusanagi sword. Not long after, Jirobo shouted, found it. Here. Hearing Jirobo's shout, everyone rushed over. They then saw that it was a stone platform that is more than 5 meters high, with a katana inserted on it, and barrier seals around it. At this time, a faint glow was being exuded from the katana. The 4 of them were overjoyed when they saw this, and Teyuya then yelled, that should be the Kusanagi sword. Great, we finally found it. With this, Lord Orochimaru will definitely value us more. Yeah, let me take it down. Kidomaru exclaimed excitedly. Just as Kidomaru wanted to jump up, a cold voice rang. Crystal style, Terran crystal falling dragon, pink crystal dragon struck in an instant, and Kidomaru was shocked and quickly drew away. And on the pink crystal dragon's head, stood a woman with dark blue hair. Damn. It's Giran. Giran then jumped from the dragon's head and landed on the stone platform. She then said in a cold voice, good work you guys. Now, this Kusanagi sword is mine. Chapter 387 5 against 5 Giran. Why are you here? Teyuya yelled. Haha, do you really think that I don't know your little tricks? With those level of IQ, no wonder Lord Orochimaru looks down on you. Giran taunted. Damn it. Giran, don't go too far. This Kusanagi sword was found by the 4 of us. You'd better hand it over to us honestly. Otherwise, even if you are more powerful, if the 4 of us join hands, you will be the one that is defeated. Just you 4 want to defeat me? The 4 of you can't even win against Kimimaro, and you all dare to challenge me. Without Kimimaro, Sound 5 is just a trash. Giran said coldly. The Sound 4 were dumbfounded when they heard this, and then Kidomaru shouted, what did you say? What? Am I wrong? Teyuya, Kidomaru, Jirobo, calm down. The Kusanagi sword is still there. We just need to team up to defeat Giran, and then we can take the Kusanagi sword. Suken said. Okay. The other 3 nodded in agreement. Interesting, then show me you weakling strength. Giran said with a sneer. Go, everyone. Suken yelled, and then the 4 of them dispersed and approached Giran from different directions. Attack of the Twin Demons, Arctic Fist, Spider Sticky Gold, Suken, Jirobo, Kidomaru attacked one after another, but Teyuya didn't attack and just observing Giran's situation. Seeing the attacks are coming towards her, Giran was not afraid at all. The corner of her mouth curled up, and she immediately formed hand seals. Crystal style, Shuriken Wild Dance, countless shuriken formed by pink crystals flew towards the Sound 4 directions with Giran as the center. The Sound 4 were shocked and quickly defended. Earth style wall, Jirobo shouted loudly, and then a huge stone wall rose up to block Giran's attack, but the stone wall was riddled with holes after being hit by the shuriken. Seeing that amazing lethality, all 4 of them felt chills. Oh? I didn't expect you would have such a defensive power. It's worthy of praise, but if it's just like this, I'm afraid it's still not enough. Giran said coldly. Giran is too strong. It seems that we have to use the cursed seal. Suken whispered. The other 3 nodded when they heard this, and then they tried to unlock the seal. At this moment, Giran suddenly shouted, wait a minute. The Sound 4 were taken aback, and then Teyuya said, why? Scared? Then hurry up and go away. Giran coldly snorted and said, someone is coming but you guys didn't know about it, what a bunch of idiots. Come out, you people who is watching the show over there. Hearing Giran's words and seeing that Giran is looking at the entrance, and the Sound 4 were shocked, and quickly turned around. Just now, the 5 of them are about to fight seriously, and if they are attacked by someone at that time, they will be in danger. Good perception, I didn't expect to be discovered so soon. Kakashi chuckled, then walked in from the entrance. Behind him, 4 people followed. Giran's pupils shrank, and she muttered, Kakashi hot talk eh? Why you are here? Make a guess. Kakashi said with a smile. Humphrey, are you also aiming for this Kusanagi sword? Giran said coldly. Originally I didn't care about it, but now that I see it, I can't let you get what you want. It seems that Orochimaru has become a bit too greedy, Kakashi said. The thing that Lord Orochimaru is fond of is Lord Orochimaru's thing. If you want to cause trouble, Giran will never let you go. Giran said as the chakra inside her body is about to explode. Interesting. I won't talk too much nonsense, let's do it. After Kakashi finished speaking, Sasuke and others behind him were ready to fight. Seeing this, Giran said, "You four, now is not the time to fight between us. We must first solve these people, otherwise, if the Kusanagi sword falls into Hidden Leaf Village hands, we won't be able to afford Lord Orochimaru's anger." The Sound Four looked at each, and then Sikin said, "Giran is right, we should stop fighting against her for now. If we lost the Kusanagi sword, Lord Orochimaru will not let us go. Humphrey, let's just help Giran for now. After we solve this group of people, we can settle the accounts with Giran," Tayuya said. After seeing the situation right now, the Sound Four naturally won't be unreasonable. At this moment, these hidden Sound Villages shinobi have reached an agreement. The 5 against 5 situation is formally formed. 5 against 5? Just choose your own opponent, Kakashi said to the 4 behind him. The 4 people behind Kakashi then moved. Karen met Kidomaru, Sakura met Jirobo, Jugo met Sikin, and Sasuke ran towards Giran. "Ah, it seems that my opponent is you," Kakashi said as he looked at Tayuya, who was not far away. Tayuya was also surprised, as she never thought that her opponent would be Kakashi. This man is someone who was praised by Lord Orochimaru. I did not have any confidence to fight him. Giran looked at Sasuke, who rushed towards him, and was a little surprised. She originally thought that her opponent would be Kakashi. "Sasuke Uchiha. Aren't you the container that was abandoned by Lord Orochimaru? Poor guy." Red Lotus whispered. "Only slave dog of Orochimaru like you guys can feel that this is a shame. Orochimaru is a weakling that can only order his dogs to do things for him," Sasuke said coldly. Giran's expression turned cold, and then she shouted, "How dare you speak like that about Lord Orochimaru? Today, I will prove how wise Lord Orochimaru's decision was." Crystal style, Jade Crystal Blade. Giran formed hand seals quickly, and then, a blade formed by pink crystals appeared on Giran's arm. She then rushed towards Sasuke. Sasuke didn't panic and pulled out the sword at his waist. Ding! The two blade clash against each other, and the battle is about to break out. On the other side, Kidomaru looked at Karen in front of him and snorted coldly, "Humphrey, it's just a woman. What's wrong with being a woman? Let's see what expression you will show after I finish taking care of you." Karen shouted, "You sure are arrogant. Kumo Shibari. Spider bind." Kidomaru directly attacked without talking nonsense. The white liquid spouted from the Kidomaru's mouth formed a spider web, and then flew towards Karen. "What is that?" Although Karen was a little shocked, a chakra scalpel appeared in her hands, and with a wave, the white spider web was instantly cut. Chakra scalpel? Medical shinobi? It's really troublesome. Kidomaru's spider silk cannot be cut with a sharp weapon, but it can be cut easily by chakra. Therefore, for his enemy to be someone who can freely use the chakra to cut, he is very frustrated. "You're really weak," Karen said mockingly. "Woman, you will regret it." The battle between Jirobo and Sakura was violent. Jirobo formed hand seals and shouted, Earth style wall, damn it." Seeing the earth wall, Sakura rushed forward and threw a punch. Boom! The stone wall was shattered easily, and couldn't block Sakura's punch at all. Jirobo was shocked, and quickly dodged to avoid the punch. The corners of his mouth twitched, and then he said, "What's wrong with this woman? How can she have such a terrible destructive power?" This is the first time Jirobo saw a punch destroy his earth release easily. "I miss." "Then continue," Sakura said as she rushed towards Jirobo again. Compared to the loud voice here, the fight between Jugo and Sikin are much quieter. "You have a cursed seal on your body?" asked Jugo. Sikin was surprised a moment and then said, "It seems that you know a lot about us. Why? Are you scared? This is the strength given to us by Lord Orochimaru." "No, I am just curious about how powerful can counterfeit be." "What are you talking about? Let me check it out, your cursed seal," Jugo said, and then black runes starts appearing on his face. Seeing this, Sikin was shocked. Cursed seal? Chapter 388 Cursed Seal Showdown. Sikin looked surprised, as he didn't expect that someone he didn't know would have a cursed seal. In Sikin's impression, only the Sound 5 and Sasuke Uchiha have this honor. Who is this Gu? Why does he have the cursed seal? Looking at your expression, it seems that you are surprised, Jugo said lightly. Bastard! Why do you have a cursed seal? It's impossible for Lord Orochimaru to give someone like you that honor. It's ridiculous. Sikin roared. The cursed seal? It was originally mine. What you have is just a copy of mine. How is it possible? Sikin said incredulously. No one can use the cursed seal more freely than I do. Now, let's stop wasting time. Jugo said as the black runes on his body gradually disappeared, and then, he turned into a gray monster. Sikin couldn't help but swallow his saliva when he saw this, and muttered, "The level 2 cursed seal? How can he enter the level 2 cursed seal so freely? What kind of monster is this guy?" With the help of Kakashi on his cursed seal, Jugo has already mastered this kind of ability perfectly. The bloodthirsty killing intent when using the cursed seal has also become extremely weak. The only thing that remains unchanged is probably when using the cursed seal, Jugo would have a horrible appearance. That horrible appearance might really scare a child to cry. Since you don't want to move, then I'm going to start first. After Jugo finished speaking, Chakra surged on his right arm, and then he rushed away, punching hard towards Sikin. Piston fist. Sikin's pupils shrank and he said in surprise, "So fast." As soon as the voice fell, before he could escape, the punch hit Sikin's chest. Arg! With scream, Sikin coughed a mouthful of blood, and then Sikin's body was directly broken in half by Jugo's punch and flew to the distance. Jugo frowned and felt something was wrong. Although his punch is strong, it was not strong enough to break a person in half. Then, the only explanation is that this person was intentionally doing this. Damn, it hurts. Sure enough, the broken half of Sikin moved again, and red blood cells emerged from the mutilated half of his body, and finally formed the half of his body which looks like armor. The other half of his body also forms a similar body. As a result, Sikin, who was broken in half, magically became two people at this time. Damn, such a powerful force, Sikin, you have caused me a big trouble. Big brother, I am really sorry, I didn't think that this one would be so strong, so I quickly used the level 2 cursed seal when the attack came. Jugo looked at the two people in front of him with a little surprise. He did not expect that there would be such thing from his opponent. He originally thought that the extra head behind Sikin was just a display, but he didn't expect it to split up into another person. So, it seems that now I have two opponents. Forget it, now is not the time to talk about this, let's kill this person as soon as possible. Yukon said, revealing his disgusting tongue, and at this moment, the appearance of his body began to change. The black runes surged, and a sharp horn grew on his head, and his hair grew a lot. The same change took place in Sikin on the other side, and his originally handsome face had now become extremely hideous and terrifying. Maybe it is the generality of the cursed seal that has the side effect of reducing the user's appearance. Fortunately, the cursed seal developed by Kakashi himself was only a medium for storing the senjutsu chakra, otherwise he might also have such a hideous and horrifying appearance. Oh? Is that your level 2 cursed seal? Interesting, I hope you can entertain me. Jugo said with a terrifying smile appeared on his hideous face. Jugo in the cursed seal state is completely different from his usual self. He is usually gentle, but at this time, he is like a berserker. The chakra from the cursed seal increased again, and Jugo at this time looked even more terrifying than before. Hey, Sikin, how do we fight against such a monster? Yukon complained. Big brother, as long as we join hands, we are invincible. Sikin muttered. It's easy for you to say, but this person is worth killing for. Jugo ignored the two people's conversation, and his right fist that turned into the hand of a monster blasted out again. It's just that this time the power is even greater than before. Destroying axe fist. Jugo's arms turned into axe and blasted towards Sikin and Yukon. Cold sweat dripped on the faces of Sikin and Yukon, and then Sikin said, "This is not a joke, Nissan, use that trick." Nonsense, I don't need you to tell me that. Sikin and Yukon bite their right thumbs at the same time, and then quickly formed hand seals. Kacheos, Rashomon. Summoning, Rashomon, the hideous ghost-faced gate rose from the ground and stood in front the two of them. At the same time, it also blocked Jugo's heavy blow. Boom. The strong impact creates a terrifying air wave. Boom. The smoke dissipated, and the ferocious Rashomon was pierced by Jugo's attack. Hey, are you kidding me? This is Rashomon that can protect Lord Orochimaru. How can it be pierced by someone's punch? Yukon said in disbelief. In the distance, Kakashi, who was playing around with Tayuya, saw this scene and couldn't help but muttered, "Oh? I don't expect that even the Rashomon would come out." Jugo's cursed seal is mastered very skillfully. He can even pierce through the Rashomon with a punch although it is only the first gate. It seems that the victory and defeat would come out soon. Sikin's strongest skill is cursed seal, and Jugo is the source of cursed seal. Sikin is very unlucky to fight against Jugo. Too weak. It's not enough. Jugo roared, rushing to Sikin's side, and grabbed Sikin's arm. Steel wrist binding. After Jugo grabbed Sikin's arm with one hand, he exerted a slight force. It's bad. Sikin secretly thought, but it is too late. Jugo is firmly grasping the Sikin's arm, making it immobile, and then he slams again towards the ground. Boom. Bang bang bang. The dust on the ground is flying around, and Sikan vomited blood from the continuous attack. Boom. With another flick, Jugo directly throws Sikan to Yukon. Yukon quickly tried to catch Sikan, but he didn't expect that the huge force would cause him to step back a few meters, leaving 2 long scratches on the ground. Cough. Another mouthful of blood spurted out of Sikan's mouth, and his state seemed very sluggish. "Big brother, I can't do it anymore, let me enter your body to rest," said Sikan. "You're so useless. Just come in," Yukon yelled, and then Sikan merged into his body. "Damn, I'm really not accustomed to become the main body," Yukon muttered. Sikan and Yukon were originally twins, with the special ability to merge their body. Usually Sikan is the main body, and Yukon is dormant behind, but now, it's the other way around. Oh? So it's still possible for you two to merge again. Interesting, let me tear you all up again. Jugo growled. Chapter 389 Parasite Demon Demolition Technique. Boom. 2 punches clashed with each other. Boom. A figure then was directly smashed into the stone wall. Too weak. Too weak. Can't you give me more fun? Jugo roared. Yukon, who was smashed into the stone wall, spat out blood and said weakly, "Is this guy a monster? His strength is a bit too exaggerated. Is he really the origin of the cursed seal? His cursed seal's strength is even more exaggerated than the one on Kinemaru's body." When Yukon said this, J couldn't help but remember the fear of being dominated by Kinemaru before. The same of being powerless against someone stronger. Damn. Absolutely not. I have dedicated the rest of my life to Lord Orochimaru, so how can I die here? Sikan, have you rested enough? I want to use that trick, whispered Yukon. Big brother, it's almost done. You can go ahead and let me control the body. The head on the back turned around and said softly. Okay, then let's first create an opportunity. Yukon said. Okay, big brother. Whoosh. Sikan then put strength on his feet with the cursed seal runs at full force as he quickly rushed towards Jugo. Oh, you dare to come again? Then take this punch. Jugo said as he threw another punch. Yukon, who was hiding, suddenly come out when the punch got close. He then grabbed Jugo's arm with both of his hands. Huh? Seeing this, Jugo formed a fist with his left hand, and threw another punch again. This time, Sikan did not escape, and was directly hit by Jugo's punch and flew out again. Boom. Another loud noise sounded as Sikan was slammed into the stone wall. But this time, Sikan showed a smile. Successful. Sikan laughed. Jugo was taken aback and a little puzzled. When he was about to kill Sikan with his attack, Jugo suddenly felt as if he couldn't move his body. What's going on? Jugo is very surprised. Kaisakikai no Jutsu. Parasite Demon Demolition Jutsu. Yukon's voice came from Jugo's body, making Jugo a little shocked. What happened? Where are you? Jugo said in surprise. Haha, you don't need to look for me, because I am in your body. How is it possible? Jugo was surprised. He struggled, and finally breaking free. Oh? You actually able to break free from my binding, but it's useless. My secret technique can use chakra to automatically decompose and rebuild the cells or proteins in the body. I broke up my body and entered your body. With this, I can slowly erode your cells and destroy your chakra pathway system. You're dead. Yukon said arrogantly. Sikan, who was being slammed into the stone wall, also smiled. No one has been able to escape from this trick. People who were caught will definitely defeated. In the distance, Kakashi was always paying attention to his team's battle situations. Upon seeing this, he frowned. Seeing this, Tayuya quickly took out her flute and said, "You shouldn't be distracted. Otherwise, you won't know how you die." Kakashi smiled and said, "Oh? The little girl seems very confident. That's fine. Let me see your means." When Tayuya heard this, she couldn't help but feel a little angry. The runes on her body quickly appeared, and she immediately used the level 2 cursed seal. Oh, good strength, but it is very ugly. Sure enough, Orochimaru's taste is very bad. Kakashi complainingly said. You are not allowed to insult Lord Orochimaru. Tayuya shouted angrily. She then put her right thumb to her mouth and bit it. Blood then oozing out from her thumb. Summoning Jutsu. Summoning Jutsu, with a bang, 3 huge rage ogres appeared in front of Kakashi. This is my summoned beast, rage ogres. Next, you will know what happened to those who annoyed me. Mtki, Mugen Onsa. Demonic flute, phantom sound chains, Tayuya said. She then put the flute on her lips and began to play the flute. The flute sound is crisp and melodious, but there is a kind of murderous air at this moment. Interesting. Is it sound-based Genjutsu? What a rare sight. Kakashi chuckled, and then he became more interested. As for Jugo, Kakashi is not worried. If he is defeated like that, Jugo would really disappoint Kakashi. Haha, how is it? Arrogant guy, it is uncomfortable, right? Yukon said arrogantly. A painful expression appeared on Jugo's face, and then he half kneeled on the ground. The feeling of cells being corroded, accompanied by severe pain, is not something most people can tolerate. Damn it, you actually use such a despicable move. Jugo muttered. Despicable? Haha, it's ridiculous, as long as you can win, how can you be called despicable? Stupid guy, just die obediently. Yukon shouted. What a joke. I will never lose to you like this. Get out of my body. Jugo yelled, and then, the chakra on his body increased sharply, and the silver cursed seal on his back fully opened. What's going on? Yukon said in shock. Cursed seal. Fully open. The gray pattern on Jugo's body gradually converging, and the appearance of the monster gradually disappeared, making Jugo's appearance return to normal, but the monster hand on both of his arms still exists. There are black eyeshadows on his face, like Sage Mode. What is going on? Yukon said in surprise. Do you think my chakra would be so easy to be merged with you? Jugo said coldly. What? Yukon exclaimed, only to feel a violent mental power rushing into his mind. Cold-blooded and indifferent. Like Orochimaru. Yukon felt that if he didn't leave Jugo's body right now, he would become a lunatic directly. Furious, Yukon instantly formed his body and withdrew from Jugo's body. Humphrey, you finally come out. Jugo then directly grabbed Yukon's foot with one hand, then slammed it hard on the ground and threw him towards Sikin, who is still on the stone wall. Arg! Yukon and Sikin screamed as their body collided. They were slammed into the stone wall, and that the original crater on the wall becomes bigger than before. It's not over yet. Tarn Fujizuo. Multiple Lotus non-self-connected cannons, Jugo's right arm turned into a barnacle-like shape, and huge amount of chakra was brewing in it. The pupils of Sikin and Yukon couldn't help but shrink when they saw this. If they were hit by such a density of chakra bullets, they would be dead. But the two had no time to react. With a soft shout from Jugo, a large number of chakra bullets shot out towards them. Bang bang bang. Chakra bullets blasted towards Sikin and Yukon one after another. Jugo could only hear they scream again and again, and after a while, the scream of Sikin and Yukon gradually faded until it disappeared completely. Upon seeing this, Jugo stopped shooting and exited the cursed seal mode at the same time. It's dangerous. If it is not for Richie Cave's Senjutsu chakra, Yukon won't leave my body. I am afraid at that time, I would be defeated by him. I was really careless. I didn't expect they would have such secret technique. Jugo murmured. Chapter 390 Destroyed with one punch. Jirobo looked at the cherry-haired girl in front of him. She has neat short hair, and looked very capable. It's just that no matter how he looks at her, she's just a girl. Hey, woman, give up, you absolutely can't beat me, said Jirobo. Hearing this, Sakura became annoyed and said, Fatty, you can't beat me. Jirobo looked dumbfounded after hearing this and said, how dare you to call me fatty? You are done. I have decided. I will destroy your corpse into 10,000 pieces. Sakura was slightly surprised, and then she saw Jirobo finished forming hand seals, earth release barrier, earth prison dome of magnificent nothingness, a semicircular stone wall rose from around Sakura, and then covered her and her surrounding. Sakura's vision went black as she was instantly surrounded by the stone wall. Haha, now that you are here, you can feel the feeling of chakra being sucked out of your body. Jirobo said while laughing loudly. It's just that at this moment, Sakura can't hear Jirobo's ridicule at all. Because of the thick rock wall, Sakura has been completely sealed inside. What's wrong with this earth release? It seems that I continually losing my chakra. No, I have to leave quickly. Thinking about this, Sakura then went up and kicked the stone wall. The stone wall was smashed instantly, revealing a big hole, but it didn't show the outside. Jirobo was shocked and secretly thought, what an amazing destructive power. This woman's attack power is so high. No, I have to increase the output of the chakra. After thinking about this, Jirobo put his hands on the rock wall and increased the output of the chakra. Inside the stone wall, Sakura was surprised as she saw that the hole she created was recovering. It turns out that this stone wall can not only absorb my chakra, but also restore the damaged place. Sakura muttered. But since it can be damaged, it can be said that its endurance have a certain limit. As long as my attack power exceeds the limit it can bear, this stone wall should be destroyed directly. This will test my attack power. This is something I'm really looking for. Sakura said with an excited smile on her face. When it comes to the single attack power, there are only a few people who can match her chakra-enhanced strength. Even Madara Uchiha once praised Tsunada's chakra-enhanced strength punch for its destructive power, And it is even above the Lord 4th Raikage's strength when he used the lightning release armor. Although Sakura's chakra enhanced strength punch is not as strong as Tsunoda's, it's enough to deal with this low-level earth release. If this is the case, then let's destroy this turtle shell. Sakura yelled, raising her right fist high. Damn it. Sakura's punch then hit the stone wall directly. Boom. A loud noise sounded. The stone wall was destroyed by Sakura's punch. What? How is it possible? Jirobo was shocked and looked at Sakura, who was right in front of him, in disbelief. However, Sakura didn't shock him for too long, as Sakura's right fist hit Jirobo's body. Boom. Another loud noise sounded. Jirobo was directly smashed and flew out. Huh? It seems that this stone wall has absorbed a lot of my power. Sakura murmured. In the distance, Jirobo slowly got up, with a look of indignation on his face. Woman. You have successfully annoyed me. Jirobo said, and the runes on his body also appeared as he immediately uses the level 2 cursed seal. Although Jirobo is arrogant, Jirobo is very clear that he has no big chance of winning in the level 1 cursed seal after getting hit by Sakura's punch, and he knew that only by using the level 2 cursed seal that he has the strength to fight. Jirobo's hands then formed hand seals, and he yelled, Earth style, Earth Mausoleum Dumpling. Jirobo's hands then grabbed the ground, and in an instant, a huge boulder that was 5 or 6 long and more than 2 meters wide was lifted directly by Jirobo. Jirobo then directly threw the huge boulder towards Sakura. Seeing this, Sakura is not anxious. No matter what kind of attack you use, I will destroy it with my punch. Damn it. Boom. With a punch, the huge stone was directly torn apart. Jirobo was shocked and muttered, what a really terrifying power. Is that the chakra-enhanced strength of the Lord 5th Hokage, Tsunoda? Then is this woman Tsunoda's disciple? Sakura-colored hair, so she's not Uzumaki Karen, then is she Haruno Sakura? She must have powerful raw strength. Then let's see who's stronger. Jirobo is proficient in earth release, but his raw strength is also very powerful. Especially when using the cursed seal, his power was multiplied. Coupled with his already huge body, his raw strength is very high. Rikenken. Hit fist, Jirobo yelled softly, and his right palm blasted out, forming a chakra air wave towards Sakura. Sakura, who has just smashed the huge boulder, hurriedly dodged the attack when she saw it. As a medical shinobi, her evading skill is extremely good. Seeing this, Jirobo rushed towards Sakura. Take this. Jirobo yelled as his right shoulder moved to slam Sakura. There are chakra condensed on his right shoulder, and if it really hit Sakura, she would be injured. But Sakura didn't try to dodge it in the slightest. She just punched him straight up. Damn it. Boom. The fist and the shoulder collided. Crack. With a crack sound, Jirobo only felt that his right shoulder seemed to have been hit by a hammer, and he was a little numb for an instant. Damn it. Take this. Frustrated because of his right shoulder, Jirobo didn't immediately pull the distance, and threw her left fist towards Sakura's chin. Sakura couldn't dodge, and was hit into the air. Ugh. Sakura cried out in pain. Chance. Take this. Jirobo bent his legs and immediately bounced into the air. Immediately, her right knee bends, and it hits Sakura's abdomen. Arg. With a scream, Sakura exhaled in pain. Jirobo smiled triumphantly, however, it was not over yet. Jirobo's body continued to rise, surpassing Sakura, and then his left palm blasted out. Rikenken. Hit fist, the huge chakra air wave went from top to bottom, directly blasting on Sakura's body that was already in pain. Boom. Sakura was directly blasted into the ground. Jirobo slowly landed. Looking at Sakura, who is on the ground, he smiled arrogantly. I thought she was so powerful, but she turned out to be so weak. Ha ha ha. Is that so? A cold voice rang in Jirobo's ears. Hearing this, he couldn't help but being surprised, and turned his head quickly. He was hit by a fatal blow. Damn it. Sakura suddenly appeared behind Jirobo, and then she kicked him with a terrifying strength. Jirobo was kicked directly into the ground, and coughed a mouthful of blood. How could this be? Jirobo looked unwillingly at Sakura, who was on the ground. But at this time, he saw that Sakura is no longer there and there's only a wooden log in her place. That. Kawarimi no Jutsu? Jirobo looked at the wooden stake with a face full of unwillingness, and never thought that he would be deceived like this. Stronger ninjutsu doesn't necessarily better. Ninjutsu used at right time is the most important. This is what Kakashi-sensei teaches me, so you can go with peace of mind. Sakura muttered. Although Jirobo was full of unwillingness at this moment, he could only close his eyes. That kick's strength is very powerful. At this time, he was already dying, and then after a few moments, he finally died. Sakura breathed a sigh of relief when she saw this, and looked at the other people's battle. Chapter 391 Mind's Eye of the Kagura. The six-handed Kodomaru is like a spider. Karen looked at the guy in front of him and felt a little nauseous. Hey, what's the matter with you guys? A weird guy with 6 arms? It's really disgusting. Karen said. Kodomaru snorted coldly and said, Humphrey, how can you understand our situation? It's disgusting. It makes you didn't look like a human, and you also don't have the consciousness of being a human. Karen said in despise. Shut up. How can someone like you, who is living under the sun, understand how painful people like us struggling in the dark are? Ridiculous. Kodomaru roared. All of the Sound 5 are orphans of the war. They all picked up by Orochimaru, and because of their talent, they were trained by Orochimaru, and now they finally became useful subordinates of Orochimaru. For them, Orochimaru is their belief, so as long as they can help Orochimaru, they don't care what happened to them. They are not afraid to give their lives, let alone become a monster with 6 hands. She didn't know why, but looking at Kodomaru's eyes, Karen seemed to have a feeling of empathy for an instant. Karen was also an orphan of the war. She originally had a mother, but her mother died in her Hidden Grass village because she was forced to heal the shinobi there. After fleeing Hidden Grass village and meeting Kakashi, she finally able to live a normal life. However, Karen has never forgotten the tragic years in Hidden Grass village. During the second round of Chunin exam, she met someone from Hidden Grass village. At that time, Karen even beheaded him unceremoniously. Because the one who killed her mother are the beast from Hidden Grass village. Therefore, at this time, Karen actually felt pity and sympathy for Kodomaru. Why are you looking at me like that? Are you pitying me? Don't joke around. I don't need anyone's pity. Go to hell. Karen's expression seemed to have touched Kodomaru's most sensitive nerve, making Kodomaru extremely angry. He instantly entered the level 2 cursed seal. He then bit his thumb, and formed hand seals. Summoning Jutsu. Summoning Jutsu, with a bang, a huge spider hung upside down in the air and it looks extremely disgusting. Kodomaru hopped into the top of the spider's body and sneered, taste the despair. Kodomaru said, and then he took out a kunai and cut the spider's belly. In an instant, countless small spiders come out of the spider's belly and fell down. Ah! So disgusting. Karen exclaimed. After all, the scene of dense spiders falling from the air is really disgusting for girls. Damn it, you're so despicable. Using such a nasty trick on girls. Karen then slammed the ground with a punch, causing the ground to be shattered. Chakra enhanced strength. After following Tsunade for 2 years, Karen also learned this skill. Karen directly lifted the shattered stone, and threw it directly at the big spider in the air. The speed of the stone is very fast. Along the way, the little spider was completely blown away by the stone, and none of them could get close to Karen's body. Boom. The stone hit the big spider, penetrating its body instantly. The blood was flowing as the big spider was in pain, and with a bang, the spider returned to the summoned world. All of this happened in a blink of an eye. Before Kodomaru could react, the big spider has already disappeared. Hey, aren't you too cruel? Kodomaru didn't expect that the girl who looked soft and weak in front of him could actually have such a brutal attack. Damn you. How dare you use such a disgusting move? I will never let you go. Karen yelled, and then rushed towards Kodomaru. Take this. Karen threw a punch towards Kodomaru. Kodomaru couldn't react for a while, and was being hit a few times by Karen. Ding. The two then pulled a distance from each other. Kodomaru didn't seem to be injured, and Karen had a pained expression on her face. Damn. What is your skin made of? It's too hard. Karen shook her hands and asked puzzledly. Haha, my body surface can secrete spider sticky gold at any time, making the surface of my body hard like metal. You can't hurt me at all. Kodomaru mocked. Oh, then I should just use a chakra enhanced strength punch to beat you. Karen said. It seems that your melee ability is good, then see if your long-range attack ability is also so good. Kodomaru said as his figure disappeared. And then, countless kunai formed by spider sticky gold appeared from all directions. The number is too much. Karen said in astonishment, and then dodged the kunai barrage. Fortunately, like Sakura, Karen has also undergone Tsunade's crazy dodging training. Otherwise, after being swarmed by this kunai barrage, she will die. What? She actually dodged it all. How could it be possible? What a terrifying dodging skill. Kodomaru muttered in surprise. Karen gasped heavily at this moment. It is obvious that dodging the attack just now was not easy for her. This level of density attack is really too foul. If only Neji is here, he would be able to block all of these kunai in an instant. Karen murmured. Now, if the kunai number increased, you won't be able to avoid it, right? After Kodomaru finished speaking, a lot of kunai formed by spider sticky gold flew towards Karen again. What? It come again. Karen exclaimed. Facing the overwhelming number of kunai formed by Spider's sticky gold, her scalp felt numb. Chakra surged all over her body, and her speed increased again. Karen then dodged left and right, and she also took out 2 kunai, and kept blocking the attacking kunai. No matter how fast Karen's speed is, she will inevitably be hit by the attacking kunai. Damn. You can only hiding in the dark. I won't let you go. Karen yelled angrily. After another wave of attacks ended, Karen looked a little haggard. The clothes were torn in several places, and blood overflowed from the wound. Although the wound was not deep, blood is flowing out of the wound. Oh? Still able to dodge? Then, let's see how you dodge it this time. Kidomaru said, and then he spit out Spider's sticky gold from his mouth and created a bow. Spider war bow, terrible split. Kidomaru held the bow with his hand, and he then spit out the Spider's sticky gold from his mouth to create an arrow. He put the arrow at the bowstring as he bit the bowstring and the arrow, aiming at Karen. Do you really think I can't find you? Mind's Eye of the Kagura. Activate. Karen said as she closed her eyes. Mind's Eye of the Kagura. It is one of the abilities of the Uzumaki clan that only some Uzumaki clan's members with strong perception ability can use. It can perceive the enemy chakra in a very large area. Under this skill, unless it is a person with a very powerful hidden ability, they won't be able to hide from this skill. Found you. Karen suddenly opened her eyes and looked towards a certain direction. Kidomaru was startled, and secretly thought, did she already find me? It's useless. My hit accuracy is 100%. My attack is also very destructive. Go to hell. Kidomaru instantly let go of the bowstring and arrow. The arrow then flew out of the string. Whoosh! A burst of wind breaking sounded. The speed of the arrow is very fast. Karen looked at the flying arrow, but didn't panic. Just as the arrow was about to hit Karen, Karen moved slightly to the left, and then condenses chakra on her right hand. She formed a chakra scalpel and slashed the arrow directly. Ding! With a crisp sound, the arrow directly broke in half. This. How is this possible? Kidomaru said in shock. Karen didn't stop as she uses another technique. Adamantine sealing chains, countless golden chains come out of Karen's body and shot out towards Kidomaru's location. The golden chains then entwine the distant Kidomaru firmly. Adamantine sealing chains. The unique fuinjutsu of the Uzumaki clan that can be released in an instant to bound people. It can even bind a tailed beast. What? What is this? Kidomaru said in surprise. Let me send you to hell. Karen's figure suddenly appeared in front of Kidomaru, and then she threw a punch. Boom. With a loud noise, the punch connects. Kidomaru was restrained by the golden chain and couldn't move at all, so he was hit in the head by Karen's punch. Being hit by Karen's punch, Kidomaru was defeated. Karen looked at Kidomaru's body, and said coldly, "You have lost." Chapter 392 Sasuke vs. Guren. On the high platform, there is the Kusanagi sword, while Sasuke and Guren face against each other. Sasuke Uchiha, I will prove that Lord Orochimaru's decision to abandon you is the right decision. Only I am qualified to be Lord Orochimaru's container. Guren said with a sneer. What a pitiful fellow. Is the only purpose of your life is to Orochimaru's container? Don't you have a dream? Sasuke mocked. What do you understand? It is my greatest honor to be able to dedicate my life to Lord Orochimaru. You are the one who failed to appreciate his kindness. Lord Orochimaru has taken a fancy to your body, but you actually refused. Do you know what a great honor you have refused? Guren said angrily. Since Guren was taken by Orochimaru, she has always worshipped Orochimaru. When she knew that Orochimaru was looking for a body to become his sole container, Guren wanted Orochimaru to take her body as the container. Originally, Orochimaru was satisfied with the Guren's ability. Unfortunately, since the discovery of the fatal weakness in Guren's KK Genkai, he is not interested in Guren's body anymore. What Orochimaru wants is a young body that has no weaknesses and is full of potential. Guren, obviously does not meet this requirement. However, Guren's strong personal strength still made Orochimaru appreciated her, which made Guren take charge of this mission. From Guren's point of view, this is because of Orochimaru's supreme trust in her, so she must not let Orochimaru disappointed. Therefore, this time, Guren has tried her best to complete this mission. Seeing the Kusanagi sword right in front of her, Guren would naturally not give up. No matter who the opponent is. Pitiful guy, your dream sure is sad. But I won't let you take this Kusanagi sword. Sasuke said coldly, and then he pulled out the sword on his waist. Arrogant. Let me take a good look of your strength to see how you can be regarded as Lord Orochimaru's container. Guren snorted softly, and immediately formed hand seals with both of her hands, crystal style, growing crystal thorns. As soon as the voice sounded, a crystal came out of the ground, piercing towards Sasuke in a straight line. Seeing this, Sasuke stayed calm. The sword in his hand was covered with lightning from Chidori, and he directly destroys Giran's crystal with a slash of his sword. But when Sasuke's sword touched the crystal, Sasuke's brow wrinkled slightly. This crystal is harder than I thought. Sasuke has secretly thought, but his hands continued to move. Fire style, Great Fireball Jutsu. As the first ninjutsu he learned, Sasuke has already mastered this ninjutsu to the point of perfection. As he put his left hand on his lips, he spewed a giant big fireball. Crystal style, Jade Crystal Mirror. The crystal mirror was formed in front of Giran, and it completely blocks Sasuke's fireball, without causing any damage. What a strong defensive power! Sasuke muttered. Giran formed another hand seals and said, Crystal style Jade Crystal Clone Jutsu. Immediately, an identical Giran emerged from the crystal mirror. Huh? Clone? Sasuke muttered as he saw the crystal clone that came out with his Sharingan. At this time, the two Giran formed hand seals at the same time and said, Crystal style, the Gods Crossings Jutsu. Both of the Giran put their hands into the ground, and then crystal come out and moved towards Sasuke. Sasuke was startled and jumped out of the range quickly, but Giran continued with her next move. Crystal style, Crystal Pentagonal Prison. The pink crystal rose directly into the sky, encasing Sasuke's feet. It's bad. Sasuke secretly thought, but he is a step too late. Giran's eyes narrowed, and the pink crystal rose again, directly encasing Sasuke's body in it. Oh, so you are only this much, and I thought that you were really amazing. Now, just shatter into pieces with my crystal. Giran said coldly. From the distance, Kakashi looked at this scene and was slightly surprised. Giran's crystal release is indeed very powerful and varied. It is similar to Haku's ice release, but it is better than the ice release in terms of firmness. But if it's just that much, it is not enough to deal with Sasuke. Kakashi secretly thought, and then he retracted his gaze, and continued to play with the three rage ogres in front of him. After Giran thought that the fight has ended, she wanted to reach out to take the Kusanagi sword, but suddenly, there was a cracking sound coming from Sasuke who was encased in crystal. Chidori Nagashi. Chidori current, Sasuke shouted in a low voice, and then, a terrifying lightning current was released from all over his body. The lightning current crushed Giran's crystal directly, releasing Sasuke. The sword in his hand slashed straight towards Giran. Giran was shocked, and a crystal blade instantly condensed on her right hand. Crystal style, Jade Crystal Blade, ding. Sasuke's sword and Giran's crystal blade collided together fiercely. How are you still okay? Giran asked in surprise. Giran, did you really think that is enough to kill me? You are really looking down on these eyes. The Scarlet Sharingan looked at Giran straightly, shocking her. Sharingan. Giran said angrily. Genjutsu, Sharingan. Giran only felt a dampened sound, as if her body was out of her control. It's bad. He's using Genjutsu. Giran secretly thought, and then she disrupts her chakra flow. When Giran broke free from the Genjutsu, a sword was already slashing towards her. Giran quickly jumped back and dodged the sword. Oh? You actually broke free from my Genjutsu so quickly. Sasuke was slightly surprised. Humphrey. Giran snorted coldly, and the blood in her body was surging. After forcibly cracking Sasuke's Genjutsu, the chakra on her body can't be used easily for a while. It seems that I need to be a little more serious, Sasuke muttered. Then try it, let's see who will be the first one to fall down. Giran said unconvinced. That's what I meant. Sasuke said softly, and then the lightning attribute chakra in his body surged. Lightning release armor. Sasuke's body was tightly covered with lightning release armor, making him look quite frightening. Seeing this, Giran was slightly surprised, but she still coldly snorted and said, Humphrey. Nice bluff. Crystal style, Terran Crystal Falling Dragon. After Giran finished forming hand seals, a crystal dragon emerged from the ground and rushed towards Sasuke. Sasuke was not anxious, and looked at the rushing crystal dragon with his scarlet eyes coldly. Chidori. Sasuke held his sword with both of his hands, and then, the sword is wrapped with blue lightning. At the same time, the sound of thousand birds chirping keeps ringing. Sasuke jumped and then swung the sword down. Clang. The sword slashed on the crystal dragon's head, and for a while, they are in stalemate. Sasuke frowned, and increased the output of the chakra in his hand. Slash. The crystal dragon then shattered with one blow. Clang. At the same time, Sasuke's sword is broken. Chapter 393 Chidori Onsai. It's so hard. Even my sword was broken. Sasuke's hand felt numb after clashing his sword with the crystal dragon. Fortunately, the crystal dragon has also broken, otherwise, Sasuke would be injured by this attack. Haha, seeing that your sword has been broken, What else can you do? Giran smiled, and immediately formed hand seals. Crystal style, growing crystal thorns. A pink crystal suddenly popped out of the ground, stabbing towards Sasuke. If you think that attack would take me down, then you have underestimated me. The Tomoe on Sasuke's eyes keeps spinning, and then after Sasuke formed hand seals, blue lightning condenses on his left hand. Chirp chirp chirp. The sounds of thousands of birds chirping rang. Chidori. Sasuke muttered, and the terrifying chirping sounded through the entire place. Stab. With a stab, the pink crystal that came out of the ground was instantly crushed by Sasuke's Chidori. However, Sasuke's face did not show joy, but instead he looked at the crystal that was quietly shattered not far away. What is going on here? My Chidori's attack range is not that far. Suspicion instantly filled Sasuke's heart. Giran narrowed her eyes, and muttered, Chidori? Kakashi Hatake's original ninjutsu? Sasuke continued to attack, and the Chidori on his left smashed towards Giran. Humphrey, troublesome guy. Giran secretly thought, but her hands didn't stop forming hand seals. Crystal style, crimson fruit, the shattered pink crystal instantly condensed and formed a fruit-like shape, enclosing Giran's whole body. Chidori also hit the pink crystal fiercely at this moment. Boom. Countless sparks splashed. But the pink crystal is unscathed. Seeing this, Sasuke frowned. Although his Chidori had just broken the crystal release attack and its power has been reduced, for it to unable to break through the crystal surface, Sasuke knew that this crystal has high defense power. Chirp. The sounds of thousands of birds chirping continue ringing. After a few seconds, the Chidori quietly dissipate. At this moment, a corner of the crystal surface was strangely shattered. Sasuke and Giran were taken aback at the same time, as they didn't know why that happened. What is going on here? Is it the weakness of her Kekkei Genkai? Or is it an accident? Sasuke was a little puzzled. He seemed to have thought of something, but he just couldn't draw a conclusion. At this moment, there was a sound of breaking wind coming from behind Sasuke. Sasuke was taken aback and quickly moved away, but he was a step too late, and a cut was made in the back by the crystal blade. Fortunately, the wound was not deep, and it was just a small injury. Damn, I forgot about her previous physical clone. I need to take care of it. Sasuke murmured. Seeing that Sasuke has escaped a blow from her clone, Giran felt a little bit regretful. She didn't expect that in this situation, Sasuke would be able to react, and avoided her clone attack. Giran understood that Sasuke's reflex and speed is really high. Sasuke Uchiha, you are not my opponent. You should surrender obediently. Giran said coldly. Humphrey, you sure are ignorant. I have already seen through your moves. Sasuke stared at Giran with his scarlet Sharingan, making Giran felt uncomfortable. Does he really see through my ninjutsu? How could it be possible? It must be a lie. Giran secretly thought in her heart. You shouldn't doubt it. I have already found a way to defeat you. From now on, your crystal release will be useless against me. Sasuke's confident words cast a shadow on Giran's heart. What had just happened appeared silently in Sasuke's mind. When the sounds of thousands of birds chirping rang, Giran's crystal shattered so suddenly. It was definitely not a coincidence. But what's the secret in it? Crystal release. Crystal? What can be used to shatter the crystal's structure? Ultrasonic wave. Sasuke's eyes lit up when he thought of this. It turns out that the weakness of crystal release is ultrasonic wave. Sasuke secretly thought, and then he started to form a combat plan. Seeing Sasuke's confident appearance, Giran starts to panic. She feels that she has fallen into some kind of predicament. Damn, I mustn't be confused by him. It must be Sharingan's Genjutsu. Calm down. Giran secretly thought in her heart, forcing herself to calm down. Seeing that Sasuke remained motionless, Giran didn't mean to continue to stand in a stalemate, and she formed hand seals again. Crystal style, hexagonal shuriken, wild dance, numerous crystal hexagonal shuriken appeared near Giran's body. At this moment, Giran waved her hand gently, and then all of the crystal hexagonal shuriken flew towards Sasuke. The crystal clone on the side also rushed in. Seeing this, Sasuke didn't panic, and uses Chidori again. Chirp. The sound of thousands of birds chirping rang once again. Sasuke's face did not show joy, and his expression was solemn. This is not enough. I need more precise control. I need more accurate judgment. Sasuke secretly thought. His scarlet Sharingan ignored the flying crystal hexagonal shuriken, but looked at the Chidori in his hands. Chidori sound is getting louder and louder. The entire space is filled with such terrifying sounds. However, in the next moment, this sound suddenly becomes very small. The sound of Chidori changed in an instant. No, it's almost right. It's not the volume of the sound. It must be frequency, the frequency is wrong. Sasuke exclaimed in his heart, And then the three Tomoe in his eyes spin very fast. Just as the crystal hexagonal shuriken was about to touch the Sasuke body, a smile suddenly appeared on Sasuke's face. The sound of the Chidori disappeared at this moment. And at the same time, the flying hexagonal crystal shuriken and the crystal clone shattered. Giran was very shocked when she saw this. What's going on? Sasuke's mouth curled up slightly, and then he said, I already said that I have found your weakness. How is it possible? I don't believe it. Giran exclaimed in horror, and then her hands are forming hand seals again. Crystal style, Terran crystal falling dragon. The crystal dragon appears once again, and rushed towards Sasuke. Sasuke didn't move at all, and the blue lightning in his left hand surged again. Chidori Onsai. The Chidori without the slightest sound appeared again, and the crystal dragon shattered directly when it was 1 meter away from Sasuke. When Kakashi, who was in the distance, saw this, he smiled. The soundless Chidori, but it's not Tokiri. Chidori Onsai? It's really an interesting ninjutsu. Sasuke is really a genius for developing Chidori like that. This. How is this possible? Giran's face showed disbelief at this moment, and her original confidence has already disappeared. She can accept that her crystal release is broken by Sasuke's physical attack, but she can't accept that her crystal release was completely destroyed by an unknown attack before reaching Sasuke. Nothing is impossible. Although your ninjutsu is strong, the weakness is also too obvious. This time, I won. Sasuke said, and then, the Chidori in his hand extended instantly. Lightning style, Chidori sharp spear, stab. The Chidori sharp spear pierced directly into Giran's chest, and blood was spilled. Chapter 394, where Orochimaru, the powerful lightning attribute chakra, invaded Giran's body, and blood spewed out directly from Giran's mouth. Damn it. So this is the end. Giran muttered. The feeling of numbness gradually made her feel a sense of confusion. Giran struggled to go out of the range of the lightning style, Chidori sharp spear, and under her feet was the end of the stone platform. Giran pulled her body away from the tip of the lightning style, Chidori sharp spear, and then fell down from the stone platform. Lord Orochimaru, I am sorry, I have disappointed you. This was Giran's last thought as her vision turned black, and then, she fainted. At this moment, a figure suddenly came from the entrance of the cave, reaching out to catch Giran, who was about to land. The newcomer has white hair, wearing round black frame glasses, and there's always smile on the corner of his mouth. It is Yakushi Kabuto. Sure enough, she is really a troublesome woman, but I got no choice but to save her. Kabuto and Giran are not harmonious. For Kabuto to save her, there must be only one reason. Is Orochimaru coming? Kakashi murmured, and then he sensed the aura of a snake. The 3 rage ogres in front of him were still attacking ferociously, but Kakashi was no longer interested in them. As soon as Flash Steps was used, the 3 rage ogres were instantly sent back to their world by Kakashi. Tayuya was still in shock seeing this when Kakashi has already appeared behind her, and then, he said softly, sorry, but the time for playing around has ended. Tayuya didn't have any time to react. There was a gust of palm wind coming from behind her, and then she felt a pain in the back of her neck and fainted. Haha, Kakashi, it's not a glorious thing to win against a youngster like that. The hoarse voice sounded in the cave. Kakashi knew that in the whole shinobi world, there is only one person who has this kind of voice. Orochimaru. Kakashi looked at the entrance and saw a figure walking in. He's wearing yellow kimono, with purple eyeliner, and golden yellow snake eyes. The corner of his mouth still had that kind of playful smile, looking at the only person in that place who deserved his attention, Kakashi. Kakashi chuckled and said, it may be dishonorable, but you should be thankful that I still spare her life. Oh? If you like it, I won't mind even if you kill her. Orochimaru said with a smile. I don't have such interest. I will just give her back to you. Kakashi said as he tossed Tayuya to Orochimaru. Orochimaru stayed calm as he reached out his hand to catch Tayuya. At this moment, Kabuto, who was bringing Giran on his back, arrived at Orochimaru's side and said, Lord Orochimaru, Giran's condition is somewhat bad, so she need to be treated immediately. Is that so? Orochimaru said as he gave Tayuya to Kabuto. He then looked at Sasuke, who was on the stone platform, and said with a smile, so it's really Sasuke. In just 2 years, he was able to grow to this level. Kakashi, I really regret making that deal with you. Kakashi smiled and said, there's no use regretting. Sasuke won't follow you anymore. That's true, but there will always be other ways. Isn't that right, Kakashi? Orochimaru said with a smile. Kakashi couldn't help but frown when he heard this. He also felt that Orochimaru actually gave him a dangerous feeling at this moment. What happened to him? At this time, Sakura, Karen and Jugo has already ran to Kakashi's side, and Sasuke also pulled out the Kusanagi sword that was on the stone platform and jumped to Kakashi's side. "Kakashi-sensei," Sakura called out with some concern. Kakashi raised his hand slightly to signal Sakura to stay calm. When Sakura saw it, she didn't talk anymore. "Orochimaru, the purpose of your coming here is for this Kusanagi sword, right?" "Unfortunately, I will not give it to you," Kakashi said. Hearing this, Orochimaru's eyes fell on the Kusanagi sword in Sasuke's hands. Sasuke's eyes narrowed slightly as he looked back at Orochimaru. This man who once frightened him seems to have become even stronger than before. Even though he has become much stronger, he can still feel that there's still a gap between him and Orochimaru. "Haha, I did come for it before, but at this point, it seems that this trip was a bit wasted," Orochimaru said with a smile. "Oh? Why?" Kakashi wondered. "Haha, that Kusanagi sword seems to be just a fake. Sure enough, there is only one real Kusanagi sword, which is the one in my hand," Orochimaru said with a smile. Kakashi glanced at the Kusanagi sword in Sasuke's hands and took a closer look. In terms of materials and workmanship, the quality of this Kusanagi sword is definitely not bad, but compared with the Kusanagi sword in Orochimaru's hand, it is indeed worse. But it is still a very good sword. As that is the case, that Kusanagi sword has no meaning to me. "Sasuke, it seems that your sword is broken. Then, this sword will be a gift from me to you," Orochimaru said with a smile. "Humphrey, you sure are generous," Sasuke said coldly. The sword was clearly in his hand at this moment, but Orochimaru said that it is a gift from him. It makes Sasuke feels a little angry. Of course, after all, the intelligence and search work of this Kusanagi sword was done by my subordinate. So naturally, that Kusanagi sword is mine, Orochimaru said. When Kakashi heard Orochimaru's words, he felt that there was some truth in it. "Then, goodbye for now, Kakashi. I am looking forward to our next meeting." After Orochimaru finished speaking, he turned and left without any hesitation. Kabuto, who was holding both Guren and Dayuya, followed behind Orochimaru and also left. "Kakashi-sensei, should we chase after them?" Sasuke asked. Kakashi shook his head and said, "No, Orochimaru's strength can't be underestimated, and Kabuto's strength is also not weak. If we attack them rashly, I am afraid there will be casualties. Our mission has been completed, so there is no need to clash with Orochimaru." After hearing Kakashi's words, everyone can only give up. They knew that if they are facing against Orochimaru, they are indeed in danger. If Kakashi is alone, he didn't mind having a fight with Orochimaru. After all, Orochimaru feels very strange to Kakashi at this time, and Kakashi wants to figure out what's that weird feeling too. But with Sasuke and others present, Kakashi couldn't do it. After all, Kakashi still can't use his full strength. After weighing the pros and cons, Kakashi chose to not act rashly. Kakashi suddenly thought of something, and exclaimed, "That's right. Shikaku-senpai. Since Orochimaru has come here, didn't that mean Orochimaru has also came to the Hidden Sound Village's camp? Doesn't that mean Shikaku-senpai is in danger?" Thinking of this, Kakashi couldn't help but feels anxious. He then left quickly with his group, heading towards Hidden Sound Village's camp. Chapter 395 Kakashi's Mistake. The four followed after Kakashi, and then Sakura asked with some doubts, "Kakashi-sensei, what's the matter?" Since Orochimaru was here, it means that he has arrived early. If he arrives, where will he go to? Kakashi said. The four of them were startled when they heard this, and Sakura said, "The Hidden Sound Village's camp." Yes, Shikaku-senpai and Houten are the Hidden Sound Village's camp after separating from us. If Orochimaru were there, I am afraid, Kakashi said, feeling anxious. He didn't expect that the information provided by the Hidden Sound Village's shinobi who they caught back then was wrong. It should be that Orochimaru is moving faster than expected, or there's something else happened, so that he arrived here so quickly. Sasuke suddenly said at this moment, "Kakashi-sensei, Shikaku-senpai should be fine." Huh? Sasuke, how do you know? Kakashi asked curiously. We just had a fight with Guren and the Sound 4. It took about 10 minutes for Orochimaru to come here. If Orochimaru rushed over from the camp after Shikaku-sensei arrives, he wouldn't be able to come so fast as the camp and our location is far away. That means he is already not in the camp when Shikaku-sensei arrived? If Orochimaru met Shikaku-sensei, he won't be able to come to our location that fast as with Shikaku-sensei's strength. It is impossible for Orochimaru to finish the fight quickly. Hearing Sasuke's deduction, Kakashi was stunned, and he thought that it really did make sense. However, Kakashi's speed did not slow down. Sasuke, you may be right, But at this moment, Orochimaru is also very likely to go back to the Hidden Sound Village's camp, so we still have to go there quickly, just in case, as we didn't know if Shikaku-senpai has finished attacking the camp. Sasuke nodded and said, yes. Kakashi can't use Sage Mode at this time, so he didn't know how Shikaku is. Pakkun hasn't returned yet. So he should be still with Shikaku-senpai. That means there should be no major problem. Kakashi secretly thought. The 5 Hidden Leaf Village's shinobi speed is extremely fast as they run towards the Hidden Sound Village's camp. However, Kakashi still feels that they are a bit slow, so he plans use his full speed and go first. Sasuke and Sakura have Kakashi's Higher no Jutsu, Flying Thunder God Jutsu, Kunai. If something goes wrong, he can rush over as soon as possible, so there should be no problem. Just as Kakashi was about to accelerate, Karen suddenly said, Big brother Kakashi, I can feel Shikaku-sensei and Houten's chakra. They are running towards us. As soon as he heard this, Kakashi immediately canceled his plan. He almost forgot that Karen's perception ability is not weaker than when he is using Sage Mode. How far are they? Kakashi asked. If we move forward with this speed, we will meet them in 3 minutes. Really? That's good. Kakashi breathed a sigh of relief as it seemed that there shouldn't be any problem. 3 minutes later, Kakashi's group met Shikaku's group. Shikaku-senpai, what is the situation? Kakashi asked. Successfully solved, there were only a few people left at Hidden Sound Village's camp. Houten and I were able to resolve the battle very quickly. Originally, we planned to clean the battlefield, but Pakkun suddenly said that your smell was approaching quickly, and I thought it might be an accident. So I rushed over quickly. Did you solve the problem on your side? Shikaku said. Well, the matter was resolved smoothly. We got the Kusanagi sword and we also met the Orochimaru. Shikaku was surprised and said, so Orochimaru is really here? No wonder there are not many people on Hidden Sound Village's camp left. I guess that the rest of the people are called back by Orochimaru. Did you fight Orochimaru? Kakashi shook his head and said, we have constraints on each other and didn't do anything, but I feel that Orochimaru seems a little weird. Weird? Why did you say so? It's like he turned into someone else. It's possible that Orochimaru has used the secret technique of living corpse reincarnation GTS again. Kakashi thought for a moment and gave his answer. Is that so? According to the intelligence, Orochimaru's last body fits perfectly last time, and he was able to display almost all of his strength. For him to use the secret technique of living corpse reincarnation GTS with such a good body, could it be that he has found a better body? Shikaku guessed. Hearing Shikaku's guess, Kakashi suddenly realized something. Is it Kimimaro? Originally Orochimaru is extremely satisfied with Kimimaro's body. As Kimimaro has bloodline disease, he tried to get Sasuke's body. But now that Kimimaro's bloodline disease has been healed with Kakashi's help, it is not impossible for Orochimaru to take Kimimaro's body. Sound 4 and Guren appeared, but Kimimaro, who was the strongest, didn't appear. Kakashi felt a little scared, as Orochimaru seemed to have found a new path. Could it be that Orochimaru will do something to the Hyuga clan? Kakashi secretly thought as he really felt that it is a possibility. It seems that I have created a big problem for myself. Kakashi's mind flooded with many thoughts, but they were all vague. But what is certain is that Orochimaru at this time may be difficult to deal with. Seeing Kakashi's expression changed a little, Shikaku asked, Kakashi, what's the matter? Nothing, I just think that Orochimaru's strength has become stronger and may affect Hidden Leaf Village, Kakashi explained casually. Maybe. But now is not the time to think about that. Orochimaru's trace is not easy to find, so we should report the mission situation to Lord Fifth Sama. Shikaku said. Yeah, we should just let Lady Tsunade to worry about it. Kakashi said with a smile. Hearing this, Sakura mourned for Tsunade. She felt that these two people are really good at throwing responsibility. After discussing for a while, the 7 Hidden Leaf Village's shinobi returned to the daimyo mansion in the Land of Flowers. Shikaku reported to the daimyo about the mission, and asked the daimyo to send someone to Hidden Sound Village's camp to clean the battlefield. At this time, Orochimaru should have already left, so there is no danger for these people to go. After the daimyo knew that the group of unknown shinobi has been dealt with, he was very happy. He originally wants to have a big celebration, but considering Kakashi and his group were busy all night and must be tired, he decided to postpone it until tomorrow. As for the issue of the Kusanagi sword, the daimyo did not mention anything. For the Land of Flowers, the Kusanagi sword is useless. With the Land of Flowers' strength, no matter whether this Kusanagi sword is real or fake, they can't keep it. The daimyo has a very clear understanding about the so-called politic. Therefore, instead of asking for the sword back and defend Hidden Leaf Village, it is better to give it to Hidden Leaf Village for favor. Perhaps with this, they can establish a more friendly diplomacy with Hidden Leaf Village, and this benefit is far more valuable to the Land of Flowers than the Kusanagi sword itself. Both sides have such a tacit understanding, so the Kusanagi sword naturally fell into Hidden Leaf Village's hands. Chapter 396 Letter The Land of Flowers Daimyo Mansion, inside the guest room. Sasuke, is the Kusanagi sword in your hand? Kakashi asked. Sasuke nodded and took out the Kusanagi sword. Kakashi took it, looked at it carefully, and then said, "It seems that Orochimaru is not wrong. This Kusanagi sword is indeed a fake, and it is a bit worse than his Kusanagi sword." "How can you are so sure, Kakashi-sensei?" Sasuke asked curiously. "It's very simple. I have fought against Orochimaru before, and his Kusanagi sword is much sharper than my previous Millennium sword. This Kusanagi sword is indeed better than my previous Millennium sword, but it is just a little better," Kakashi explained. "It turns out to be like that." Sasuke nodded. "But even so, there is not many sword in this world that can be compared to this Kusanagi sword," Kakashi said as he handed the Kusanagi sword back to Sasuke. Sasuke was taken aback, and said, "Kakashi-sensei, this sword is yours now," Kakashi said with a smile. "Kakashi-sensei, is this appropriate?" Sasuke was surprised. As someone who has trained in swordsmanship, Sasuke is indeed a little fond of this sword. Sasuke also has the desire to use this Kusanagi sword, but Sasuke knows that such weapons cannot be owned casually. This Kusanagi sword is the reward from this mission and is to be handed over to Hidden Leaf Village. If Kakashi gave it to himself, he is afraid that there will be some trouble. "Do not worry, it's just a fake Kusanagi sword. Lady Tsunade won't be that petty," Kakashi said with a smile. Kakashi is also telling the truth. Even if Tsunade knows that the Kusanagi sword has been given to Sasuke, she will not pursue anything. On one hand, this Kusanagi sword is what Kakashi and the others found, and it was considered the reward of the mission. Even if it is handed over to the village will give a certain amount of compensation to them. On the other hand, Tsunade will still give Kakashi some favor. After all, a fake Kusanagi sword is obviously not as valuable as Kakashi. Tsunade wouldn't care about these things as long as it is for Kakashi. "Thank you very much, Kakashi-sensei." Sasuke accepted the Kusanagi sword when he heard Kakashi's words, and he was a little moved in his heart. "Use it well. By the way, you should change the name of this sword, otherwise it always feels weird to call it Kusanagi sword," Kakashi said. "Kakashi-sensei, can you please give it the name?" "Well, let's call it Sky Cloud Sword." "Thank you, Kakashi-sensei." "Haha, now, you should rest early as we will return to Hidden Leaf Village tomorrow." Kakashi finished speaking and returned to his room while waving his hand. Sasuke watched Kakashi leave without moving. After a while, Sasuke looked at the Kusanagi sword in his hand. "No, it should be called the Sky Cloud Sword from now on." Sky Cloud Sword. Sasuke picked up the Sky Cloud Sword and went to the courtyard, training the sword technique he had learned. For a while, Sasuke looks like dancing with the Sky Cloud Sword in his hand. Under the moonlight, that vigorous figure resembled a young man who was practicing swordsmanship in Hatake clan's residence more than 10 years ago. When Kakashi, who was upstairs, saw this scene, he showed a happy smile. This kind of Sasuke seems to be good too. Nothing happened in the night, and early the next morning, Kakashi and others declined the invitation from Daimyo to celebrate and set off to return to Hidden Leaf Village. The group of 7 people walked swiftly all the way, and within 2 days of travel, they returned to Hidden Leaf Village. In the Hokage Tower, Kakashi and Shikaku reported the mission together. "So that's the case, is it really the Orochimaru?" Tsunade muttered. "Yes, and it feels like Orochimaru has performed the secret technique of living corpse reincarnation duties," Kakashi said. "Fushi Tensai? This guy is still the same as expected." "Forget it, it's not easy to find him," Tsunade said. Hearing this, Kakashi and Shikaku glanced at each other without showing any particular expressions. Finding Orochimaru is not an easy task. The manpower and material resources spent compared with the actual results are really disproportionate. Why does most of the S-rank missing nin can go unpunished? It is because it is difficult to catch them. After all, most of the S-rank missing nin has the Kage level strength. And how many Kage level combat power does a village have? Why not sending Kage level combat power to hunt down the S-rank missing nin? Let's not talk about the problem of wasting resources. If this Kage level combat power is counter-killed, then it will be irritating. Therefore, even though the S-rank missing nin has the highest rank of bounty, the intensity of catching them is the lowest. Unless they happen to meet them, or if this S-rank missing nin cause great trouble to the village, only then the village try to arrest them. Otherwise, most shinobi villages generally don't care about the S-rank missing nin. By the way, where's the Kusanagi sword? Tsunade asked. This. Kakashi scratched his head embarrassedly. Tsunade looked at Kakashi and said, "Did you take it? It was originally our loot. Shouldn't it be fine if we take it?" Kakashi said with a smile. Bang. With a loud bang, Tsunade's powerful fist hit the desk, and then she said, "What did you say? Say it again?" "This. Lady Tsunade, isn't it okay?" Kakashi said with a smile. "Humphrey." Tsunade snorted coldly and retracted her fist. She then said, "Is it for Sasuke?" "Yes." Kakashi is not surprised if Tsunade knew about it. After all, he can't give it to others except Sasuke. The workload has doubled recently. Kakashi rolled his eyes when he heard Tsunade's words. Well, I knew that this would be the result. Shikaku on the side couldn't help but snickered when he heard this, while showing a gloating expression. Tsunade didn't pursue the matter of the Kusanagi sword anymore, just like Kakashi thought. After all, it was just a fake Kusanagi sword, so Tsunade didn't care about it. But a little revenge is indispensable. So, in the next few days, Tsunade threw a lot of documents to Kakashi, and Kakashi was so busy that he can't do anything else, and he fully experienced what it feels to be someone's slave. Tsunade spent several days of leisure time happily. And when Kakashi finally got rid of the horror work given by Tsunade, the arrival of a toad broke the tranquility. Kakashi was resting on the bed at his house, and he suddenly heard a sound. Croak. That is. Toad. Kakashi was taken aback and stand up from the bed. Sure enough, there is a toad on a windowsill. The toad hopped and jumped onto Kakashi's bed. And then it spewed out a scroll full of saliva from his mouth. Kakashi then took the scroll and saw that there is a seal on it. This is a letter from Lord Jiraiya. Kakashi unlocked the seal, and read the content. After reading it, he couldn't help but frown. Immediately, Kakashi burned the letter and murmured, "It seems that I need to leave the village again." Chapter 397 Opening the Seal? Kakashi told Tsunade about this matter. Tsunade did not object, and approved Kakashi's application to leave the village. Kakashi made a little preparation and left Hidden Leaf Village. In the forest outside Hidden Leaf Village, he used a Hiraishin no Jutsu, Flying Thunder God Jutsu. A spatial fluctuation appeared in the forest for an instant, and then Kakashi disappeared. Withered Town, a small town on the border of the Land of Fire. There is not much prosperity or excessive poverty here. It is just a small town that is inconspicuous in the Land of Fire. But today, in this ordinary town, there are a few great figures in the shinobi world. In the hotel, Kakashi's figure quietly emerged. Kakashi stood still, and saw a man with long white hair in front of him. Lord Jiraiya. Kakashi said respectfully. Jiraiya smiled and said, "Kakashi, you come so fast. Just like Minato." "Thanks for the praise, Lord Jiraiya. By the way, where's Naruto?" Kakashi looked around, but he did not see Naruto. Naruto probably is still asleep at this time. Yesterday's practice was a bit tougher, so there is nothing wrong with sleeping longer, Jiraiya said. "So it's like that. Lord Jiraiya, you said in the letter that you plan to remove Naruto's seal?" Kakashi asked. "To be precise, it's not remove, but to open it slightly and let Naruto try to control the power of Kurama." "Kakashi, have you ever entered Naruto's body before and talked to Kurama?" Jiraiya asked. Kakashi did not deny it, and said directly, "Yes, when Naruto was a child, I used the power of Sharingan to enter the Kurama seal and talk with the Kurama. After that, the Kurama controlled his strength, and did not interfere with Naruto's training. No wonder that even after being sealed for so many years, I didn't feel Kurama's chakra leaking from Naruto. After all, it's been a long time since he sealed in Naruto, so the seal should be weakened. I'm really curious though, how did you make Kurama obedient?" Jiraiya looked at Kakashi curiously. Kakashi smiled but didn't answer. Seeing Kakashi didn't want to answer, Jiraiya sighed and said, "Forget it, it seems that you don't intend to answer it. Thank you for your understanding, Lord Jiraiya. You brat, I don't understand you more and more." Jiraiya sighed. At this moment, he had the illusion that he was old. "Jiraiya, you meant that you want to make Naruto to become a perfect Jinchuriki like Killer Bee?" Kakashi said. "Yes, this is what Minato wanted." Minato used the dead demon-consuming seal to divide the Kurama into two parts, one yin and one yang. Then, the yang part of Kurama was put into Naruto's body with the 8-trigram sealing style, while the yin part of Kurama entered the belly the Shinigami with Minato. Before Minato died, he gave the key to the Naruto's seal to the Toad race, and asked the Toad race to pass it to me, hoping that I would help Naruto to fully grasp the power of the Kurama. Hearing this, Kakashi frowned and said, "I think it's still too early." Naruto is just 15 years old, and he didn't necessarily have the strength to control the Kurama, so it is too risky. No, we should give it a try. In the past 2 years, Naruto's strength has improved a lot. If Naruto can control the Kurama's strength, then Akatsuki's threat to Naruto will be reduced to almost zero. Even if it fails, both of us are here. I believe that even if Naruto couldn't control it and rampage, we can stop it without any trouble, Jiraiya said. Maybe we can give it a try, but we only need to open the seal by a little bit. If it's too much, there may be some trouble, Kakashi said. Haha, rest assured, I understand that. It's okay to open it up to 4 tails strength and let Naruto get used to it. If it's too much, it may be troublesome, Jiraiya said. Since that is the case, I have no objection. Good. Jiraiya said, and with a wave of his right hand, a creature like a scroll came out of him. This is... Kakashi was surprised. This is Jirotaura, Mount Myabaku's scroll toad, who closely guards whatever secret has been written on its scroll abdomen. Back then, Minato handed over the key to the Kurama seal to him, Jiraiya explained. Jirotaura exclaimed, Jiraiya, did you call me? Yeah. Why did you call me? Jirotaura said impatiently. I want Naruto to try to master the power of Kurama, so I need your help. You want to open the Kurama seal? Jirotaura asked. Yes, I want to give it a try. If it succeeds, we can proceed to the next step, Jiraiya said. Jiraiya, this is a very dangerous thing. If it is not done properly, even you will be seriously injured. Jirotaura said solemnly. Hearing this, Jiraiya just laughed and then said, haha, don't worry, I have my own measures. Well, since you want to do this, then I naturally won't argue. When the time comes, you can just call me out. After Jirotaura finished speaking, he got into Jiraiya's body again. After signing the contract, Jirotaura will enter the contractor's body until the contractor dies or the contract is reached. Therefore, Jirotaura have always been inside Jiraiya's body. And he is also the key for Naruto to fully control the power of Kurama. Kakashi, everything is ready now. We just need to wait for Naruto to wake up. Jiraiya said with a smile. Yes, Lord Jiraiya. By the way, Kakashi, where did you go in the past 2 years? If I didn't learn from Tsunade that you have returned, I would do this myself, Jiraiya asked. I went to a place that shouldn't have been visited, and met some people who shouldn't have been met, Kakashi said with emotion. You sure are hard to understand. Forget it, let's just assume I didn't ask. Kakashi smiled faintly, and didn't explain much. After all, going back to the past is a thing that shouldn't be talked about. At this time, the door was pushed open. A yellow-haired teenager in a toad pajama walked in with a sleepy eye. Hero Sage, why didn't you call me up? It's already noon now. If I delay my training, I will be surpassed by Sasuke. Kakashi-sensei would be disappointed. The yellow-haired teenager mumbled and accidentally bumped into Kakashi. Ouch! The yellow-haired teenager looked like he was not awake. When he suddenly hit something, he fell directly to the ground. Naruto, you have grown taller, but why hasn't this problem been corrected yet? The familiar voice rang in Naruto's ears, and Naruto immediately woke up. He opens his eyes and looks at the person in front of him. Naruto's expression went from shock to surprise, and he immediately leaped into Kakashi's body. Kakashi-sensei. Chapter 398 Kurama's Chakra Cloak. Seeing Naruto who leaped into his body, Kakashi was a little helpless, and said, Naruto, calm down. Naruto quickly got off Kakashi when he heard this. It's not that Naruto thinks that is bad, but Kakashi's order is something Naruto has always listened to. Kakashi-sensei. Why are you here? Naruto exclaimed excitedly. Kakashi smiled as he patted Naruto's head and then said, sorry for not telling you. Naruto enjoyed this action of Kakashi very much, and then said, well, it's okay. It's great to see you, Kakashi-sensei. Is your training still going well? Kakashi asked. Yeah. It's going very well. You should ask Hero Sage how hard I trained every day. Naruto said quickly, fearing that Kakashi would misunderstand him being lazy. Hearing this, Jiraiya smiled and said, Kakashi, Naruto is often lazy. When he heard Jiraiya's words, Naruto shouted nervously. Hero Sage. Don't talk nonsense. I obviously work very hard every day. Ha ha ha. It's really rare for me to see you nervous like that, Naruto. Ha ha ha. Jiraiya laughed heartlessly. Hero Sage, you. Naruto yelled angrily. Alright, I know that you are working hard. Let's go, there is an important training for you today, I hope you can work hard to complete it. Jiraiya suddenly suppressed his smile and said seriously. Hearing this, Naruto was taken aback for a moment. After all, Jiraiya was always laughing and joking. He knew that when he looked serious, It meant that he was going to do something. Hey, Hero Sage, what do you want to do? Naruto asked with some fear. Don't be nervous, just some new training. You see, for this practice, I even called Kakashi. Do you know how important it is? Jiraiya said. When Naruto heard this, he looked at Kakashi, who is on the side. Kakashi nodded slightly and said, Naruto, you should just do your best for this training, and don't force yourself. Hearing this, Naruto immediately said confidently, yes. Kakashi-sensei. I won't let you down. Well, since we have finished the discussion, let's move to another place. This place is not suitable for the next training. Jiraiya said, and then he jumped out of the window. Naruto, let's go. Yeah. No. I haven't changed my clothes yet. Naruto said. You don't need to change it, that clothes is pretty cute. Kakashi grabbed Naruto and also jumped out the window. Naruto had no choice but to follow the two and leave without changing. The three quickly left the town and entered a valley. Jiraiya then stopped and murmured, this place is good, it's just right. Behind him, Kakashi and Naruto also stop. Hero Sage, why did we need to go so far? Naruto asked curiously. Naturally, it's to make it easier to train. Wait a minute. Jiraiya said. He then bites his right thumb, and formed some hand seals. Summoning Jutsu. Summoning Jutsu, in an instant, a huge flesh-colored space appeared in front of the three. Wow! It's so big, it's like a big ball of meat. The huge flesh-colored space almost filled the entire uninhabited valley. Jiraiya put his right hand on it, and a door with the size of a person appeared. This is the esophagus of a giant toad from Mount Mayabaku, rock lodging. It is a self-contained space and has a very strong defense ability. If we train inside it, there will not be any trouble. As expected of Hero Sage, you're really thoughtful. Naruto said joyfully. Kakashi looked at Naruto and couldn't help but feel a little helpless. Naruto is still the same knucklehead as before, as he didn't understand why Jiraiya need to summon this to train. If he was able to think about it a little bit, maybe he won't be able to laugh at this time. Naruto walked in happily. Jiraiya nodded towards Kakashi. Kakashi understand the meaning, and walked in as well. Jiraiya followed closely from behind, and then, the entrance was closed immediately. Wow, this place is really big, it looks completely different from the outside. Naruto looked around curiously. These three then walked to the center. After a while, Jiraiya stopped and said, let's do it here. Huh? Hero Sage, what are we going to do? Naruto asked curiously. Naruto, remember I told you before that there is a fox in your body? Jiraiya said. Naruto was taken aback when he heard this, and his expression turned a little bleak, but he still nodded. Naruto's feeling about Kurama is actually very complicated. He has a sad childhood for so many years because of the Kurama, so Naruto was actually a bit resistant of Kurama. He also didn't communicate much with Kurama, only occasionally. Kurama always had a cold face, so Naruto didn't have much interest in communicating with him. At least for now, Naruto hasn't actively looked at the Kurama yet. Naruto, your training this time is to try to control that power, Jiraiya said. Control that power? Naruto was a little confused, and then continued, but Hero Sage, I can already borrow that power freely. Jiraiya shook his head and said, no, that's not enough. Those powers are less than 1/10,000th of the Kurama's real strength. You have to get more powerful power from the Kurama. What should we do then? Naruto asked. I will open your seal for a little bit. When the power of the Kurama overflow into your body, you have to learn how to control these powers, understand? Jiraiya said. Naruto nodded and said, okay. At this time, Kakashi said, Naruto, if you want to control the power of Kurama, remember, to communicate and understand, and do not force it. Communicate and understand? Naruto was a little confused. It's okay if you don't understand now, just be sure to remember it. If your brain can't remember, let your body remember that feeling, understand? I understand, Kakashi-sensei. It is like climbing tree and walking on the water training. Naruto stunned. That may be true, but the difficulty and approach are completely different, Kakashi said. It's okay, Kakashi-sensei, I will figure it out. Naruto said confidently. Well, Kakashi, don't worry about this. Naruto is not a type that can learn from just theory. It's better to just let him experience it once, Jiraiya said. Well, that's true. Kakashi nodded. Seeing this, Jiraiya summoned Jirotara again. However, Jirotara didn't say anything. He stretched out his hand and pressed it directly on Naruto's abdomen. Okay, you can handle the next thing yourself. Jiraiya and Kakashi were both taken aback. Aren't you moving too fast? Naruto was also taken aback. Suddenly, He felt a burning sensation in his abdomen, and a huge force seemed to be pouring out of it. Arg! Naruto loudly shouted. A powerful wave of air was formed instantly. For the power to be such a degree, even if it's just opened by a little, as expected of the Kurama, Jiraiya exclaimed. At this time, the red chakra slowly overflowed from Naruto's abdomen. Is it coming out? Jiraiya frowned. Naruto's eyes instantly turned into the vertical pupils of a fox, and his murderous aura was overflowing. The red chakra on his body gradually formed a chakra cloak, covering Naruto's body. Behind him, there is a red fox tail made from chakra. Kurama's chakra cloak. Chapter 399 Rampaging Naruto. It seems that the Kurama's chakra has begun to leak out, Kakashi said. Yeah, but this intensity is really amazing. It is just a tail, but it already has the aura of Jonin. I wonder what happened if the Kurama is not split into half. Jiraiya said with emotion. Kakashi nodded as he is also very curious about how strong the intact Kurama was. The original Kurama had two powers, yin and yang. Now, what is in Naruto's body is only yang half of the Kurama. But even if it was just the yang half, during the war in the original work, Naruto with the help of Kurama could fight against five-tailed beast at the same time and still had the upper hand. If it is a complete Kurama, does that mean that all the other eight-tailed beast won't be his opponents? It must be said that when distributing the power of the tailed beast, Sage of Six Paths is too biased towards the Kurama. Compared with the other tailed beast, Kurama got the most power. Naruto, how do you feel? Kakashi asked. It feels good, but there is a killing intent in my heart. There is also a burning sensation on my skin, Naruto said. It seems that the current Naruto can now control the power of one tail freely. Kakashi muttered. Yeah, after all, it's just equivalent to Jonin's strength, so it is to be expected. Now, let's continue. Jiraiya said. Time continued to pass by. The tail beast chakra cloak on Naruto's body became more and more red, and after a while, the second tail appeared. Naruto only felt that the burning sensation on the skin was a bit stronger, but it was still bearable. Soon, the third tail grew out. Lord Jiraiya, the speed of the strength is getting leaked is becoming faster, Kakashi said. Jiraiya's expression also became a little serious. He can feel that Naruto's strength is gradually approaching towards the Kage level strength. The strength of the three tails is around Elite Jonin. Then, is the fourth tail equivalent to the Kage level strength? Jiraiya muttered. It should be correct, but it seems that Naruto can't hold it any longer. Naruto was already on all fours at this time, and with a tailed beast chakra cloak on his body, he looked like a fox. The beard on his face became more obvious, his nails grew a lot longer, and even fangs appeared. Ah! Naruto roared, and a powerful wave of air shook the entire space. Kakashi narrowed his eye and secretly thought, the power of Kurama is really terrifying. It's just the third tail, but it already has this level of strength. It seems that the fourth tail is equivalent to the Kage level strength. No wonder Naruto can fight against Orochimaru with the fourth tail and still has the upper hand. When Kakashi is still thinking, the three blood-red tails wrapped Naruto tightly. The skin seemed to be fading away little by little, and Naruto's appearance can no longer be seen. At this point, Naruto is like a small Kurama, his whole body appeared black and red, and his eyes became white. Roar. A roar like a beast came from Naruto's mouth. It seems that the situation is a bit bad. Naruto can no longer control the Kurama's power after reaching the fourth tail, and he already lost his reason. Jiraiya said solemnly. Yes, the power that Naruto can control today is only up to the third tail. As for the fourth tail, he can't do it. In this case, I am afraid that it will be long before Naruto can completely control the full power of Kurama. Moreover, I am afraid that this way of mastering is not the right way. Right now, Naruto probably has already lost all of his skin. I heard that the Eight Tails' Jinchuriki, Killer Bee, has a good relationship with the Eight Tails, and he can turn to Tailed Beast anytime, Kakashi explained. Become a friend with Kurama? Naruto can only rely on himself for that, but I now understand where Naruto's limits are at. In the future, I can also do some more focus training, Jiraiya said. In that case, let's disperse the Kurama's chakra from Naruto as soon as possible. I am afraid that his body will not be able to support it if he stayed in that state for a long time, Kakashi said. Yeah. Just after Jiraiya responded, the four-tailed Naruto suddenly opened his mouth, and a little bit of red and blue chakras condensed in the air. Kakashi was surprised and said, Damn, Naruto is condensing tailed beast bomb. Jiraiya was also surprised when he saw the terrifying chakra that was condensed. If it hit him head-on, he knew that he would die without leaving corpse. Tailed beast bomb was ready in no time, but the four-tailed Naruto didn't launch it directly, but swallowed it into his mouth. In an instant, the body of the four-tailed Naruto quickly swelled. Not good. Get out of the way. As soon as Kakashi's voice fell, the terrifying tailed beast bomb was spurted out of four-tailed Naruto's mouth. The tailed beast bomb moves towards Kakashi and Jiraiya. However, these two are powerful expert, so how can they be hit by tailed beast bomb when they are prepared? Tailed beast bomb failed to hit any of the two, and finally bombarded the esophagus of the rock lodging. In an instant, a big hole was formed on the stomach wall. But soon, the big hole was quickly repaired. What a terrifying power! The defensive power of the rock lodging's esophagus is strong, but I didn't expect it to be broken by just a blow. Jiraiya murmured. Jiraiya now understands why Minato bet on putting the Kurama on Naruto's body at the end of his life. Because Minato knew the power of Kurama very well, after all, he was the man who slept with Kurama's Jinchuriki. Therefore, Minato knows that once Naruto fully mastered the power of Kurama, he will have the confidence to face the unknown enemy. Lord Jiraiya, Naruto has lost his mind now, so we have to find a way to reseal the power of Kurama, Kakashi said. Yeah, I am already prepared. Jiraiya said, taking out a piece of paper from his pocket. This is the sealing paper that can seal the Kurama's chakra. We just need to stick it on Naruto's forehead. After Jiraiya finished explaining, he handed the sealing paper to Kakashi and said, Kakashi, you are faster than me. After this, I will hold Naruto. I want you to take that opportunity to stick this sealing paper on Naruto's forehead. Okay, no problem. Kakashi took it and moved to the side, waiting for the opportunity. Seeing Kakashi is ready, Jiraiya looked at Naruto. At this moment, Naruto has already lost his reasoning. He is on all fours, and his eyes were extremely hollow. Sure enough, this kind of thing can't be done randomly, Jiraiya said as he rushed towards Naruto. But before he got close, Naruto's four tails turned into sharp weapons and shoot towards Jiraiya. Zayu Zayu Zayu. Seeing this, Jiraiya moved around flexibly, avoiding the tail attack. Jiraiya then began forming hand seals with both of his hands. Wild Lion's main jutsu, Chapter 400 Cooperation. Jiraiya's white hair instantly stretched, forming long white ropes, and flew towards four-tailed Naruto. Ninjutsu using hair is one of the major features of Jiraiya. With its powerful strength, it is also one of Jiraiya's most commonly used ninjutsu. The long white hair formed the shape of a lion's head, and then entangles the four-tailed Naruto tightly. The four-tailed Naruto's limbs are completely restrained. Roar! The four-tailed Naruto screamed and snarled, trying to break free of Jiraiya's annoying hair. Now! Jiraiya shouted in a low voice. Hearing this, Kakashi used flash steps directly and rushed towards Naruto. Holding the sealing paper in his right hand, he was about to stick it on Naruto's forehead. But, at this moment, the four-tailed Naruto struggled crazily, and the shackle formed by Jiraiya's white hair was broken directly. The white hair scattered, and then a paw was scratching towards Kakashi. Kakashi was shocked, and quickly backed away. The sharp claw swiped the clothes on Kakashi's chest, and in an instant, a shallow tear appeared. Kakashi got back to Jiraiya's side and Jiraiya asked, Are you okay, Kakashi? I'm okay. I just didn't expect that he would break free so quickly. He's really powerful. Kakashi said. Yeah, it is much more troublesome than I thought. It will be hard to subdue him without causing damage to Naruto. Jiraiya murmured. Kakashi also nodded when he heard this. At this time, the four-tailed Naruto is indeed very strong, and the general Kage-level expert is probably not his opponent. But compared to Jiraiya and Kakashi, there is still a big gap. It is not difficult for them to kill Naruto, but the problem is that they want to subdue Naruto without causing any harm. In the original work, Jiraiya was even seriously injured by Naruto. It's not that Jiraiya couldn't defeat the four-tailed Naruto, but Jiraiya has to subdue him without causing major damage to Naruto. So the difficulty has risen by several levels. After all, Jiraiya's ninjutsu is not suitable for capturing, and they are usually used to kill. With Jiraiya's strength, maybe the only one who can defeat him before the war is Nagato. Even Nagato himself admits that if Jiraiya knows his secrets, he will be the one who lose. Lord Jiraiya, to restrict Naruto's actions, let's use Earth Release, Kakashi said. Well, I will continue to try and hold him. You should find a way to get close to him, but be careful, the strength behind his attack is not a joke, Jiraiya said. Don't worry, I know about it, Kakashi said, and he once again moved to the side. When Jiraiya saw this, he removed the esophagus on the ground, and then went formed hand seals. Earth-style, swamp of the underworld. In an instant, a swamp formed under Naruto's feet, and Naruto sank directly. Roar. The four-tailed Naruto released another roar. He is obviously angry at this time. The swamp gradually swallowed Naruto's body, and soon, only half of his body was left. The four-tailed Naruto is now furious. The four tails thrust into the swamp abruptly, trying to get his body out. Seeing this, Kakashi narrowed his eyes. Now, using flash steps, he directly rushed from behind Naruto, and then, he directly thrust the sealing paper on his hand onto Naruto's forehead. Roar. With a weak roar, the Kurama's chakra on Naruto receded like a tide. All that was left was a weak Naruto, whose skin had been corroded by Kurama's chakra. Kakashi picked up Naruto, jumped out of the swamp and landed next to Jiraiya. At this time, Naruto has already unconscious, and did not know what happened. The Kurama's chakra is really terrifying. It actually directly erodes the skin on Naruto's body. Jiraiya frowned. It is indeed terrifying. The Kurama's chakra originally has strong resilience, and using that kind of tailed beast chakra cloak will cause corrosive damage to his body. This action will cause great damage to human cells. I am afraid that if things go on like this, Naruto won't be able to live long, Kakashi said, and then, green chakra appeared in his hand as he starts to heal Naruto. Well, it seems that this way of mastering is really not good. I have to think of another way. Jiraiya murmured. Kakashi took back his chakra and gave up the treatment. Kakashi knew that this kind of injury can't be cured by his half-baked medical ninjutsu. That's really the safest way. But we should need Naruto to grow up a little more before we can try another way, Kakashi said. Yeah, you're right. Jiraiya nodded. Let's go back first. With Naruto like this, I'm afraid it will take some time before Naruto can train again. Kakashi said. Jiraiya scratched his head and said with a smile, it seems to be like that. Fortunately, I called you over this time. Otherwise, I'm afraid that it will be really troublesome. Kakashi smiled and didn't say anything. In the damp sewer, Naruto once again appears here. There is stagnant water on the ground, and a dark road ahead. Naruto was dazed, but there was a force that led him to walk forward slowly. Finally, he once again reached the huge iron cage, housing the huge figure. Idiot, you're here, said Kurama coldly. Naruto was shocked when he heard this and reacted. Smelly fox? Why am I here again? Naruto asked in surprise. Idiot, I don't even know why you came here. How is it, isn't my strength awesome? Kurama mocked. Memories started to flood into Naruto's head. After a while, Naruto reacted. Smelly fox. It's you again, right? Naruto yelled. Humphrey, it's your own fault. After all, you are the one who opened my seal slightly and let my power leak out. Since you want to, then I can't let you down. It's just the power of four tails, but you already can't bear it. You're really weak. Kurama mocked. Naruto was furious when he heard this, but there was nothing he can say. After all, it was indeed his lack of strength that prevented him from mastering the power of the four tails this time. Smelly fox. Just you wait. One day, I will master all of your power. Naruto swears loudly, pointing at Kurama. Oh? What an arrogant brat. Who do you think you are? Thinking that you can master the strength of the legendary Kurama. Kurama said with disdain. Because I am Naruto Uzumaki. Smelly fox. One day, you will recognize my strength. After all, I will become the Hokage. Kurama was slightly startled, and then said, boring. Ah. Smelly fox, what are you talking about? Get out, you're really noisy. With a wave of Kurama's paws, Naruto felt dizzy, and then fainted. Sure enough, the reincarnations of Azura are all idiots. Chapter 401 Night Talk at the rooftop. The night was cold, and Kakashi sat on the rooftop of the inn, looking at the moon in the sky. How many years have I looked this bright round moon? Kakashi can't remember. He only knew that when he came into this world, he was looking at this bright round moon. He looked it when he was refining the chakra, and he was looking it when he was training his swordsmanship. Unfortunately, the moon in this world is not the moon from his previous life. It has signs of life, and even the last boss in this world is there. Kakashi sometimes thinks, if there is Master Roshi in this world, he will be able to destroy the moon with his Kamehameha. With that, he won't have to work so hard. Unfortunately, there is no Master Roshi in this world. Kakashi sighed and murmured, I'm really tired. At this time, a big hand was placed on Kakashi's shoulder. Kakashi was taken aback for a moment as he didn't notice someone is coming this close to him. Am I Tool Axe? Kakashi, what are you thinking about? Lord Jiraiya, why are you here? How is Naruto? Kakashi asked. Jiraiya sat next to Kakashi and said, Naruto's injury has recovered almost with the help of Kurama's chakra, and he should wake up tomorrow. Is that so? That's good then. Kakashi nodded. Jiraiya then looked at Kakashi seriously. Kakashi, seeing you this time, I feels that you are a little different from before, Jiraiya said. Hearing this, Kakashi lightly said with a smile, really? People will always change. No, this change is not in personality, but in feeling. Jiraiya said, looking at Kakashi's left eye that was covered by the forehead protector. Kakashi was taken aback. Is it discovered by Lord Jiraiya? Jiraiya may seem stupid and idiotic, but in fact, he is smart. Today, when facing the four-tailed Naruto, if Kakashi used Sharingan, it can be solved quickly. But Kakashi didn't use it. There are only two reasons for this. Either Kakashi doesn't think it is necessary, or Kakashi's Sharingan cannot be used. Thinking about the reasons, Jiraiya is more inclined to the latter. Because Jiraiya remembers that the reason why Kakashi disappeared for 2 years seemed to be to deal with the Sharingan's problems. Now that Kakashi comes back early, it is unknown whether the Sharingan's problem is resolved or not. Therefore, Jiraiya tried to look at Kakashi's left eye at this time. Lord Jiraiya, I'm sorry but I can't tell you about these things. Kakashi apologized. Sure enough, that is the case. Forget it, it doesn't matter if you don't say it. It's okay as long as your heart is still with Hidden Leaf Village. Jiraiya smiled heartily. Kakashi smiled and didn't answer, but moved to another topic. Lord Jiraiya, how good do you think Naruto is right now? Kakashi asked. After hearing Kakashi's question, Jiraiya contemplated for a while, and then said, Naruto? When it comes to strength, Naruto already has reached Jonin level, but when it comes to the mind of doing things, he is still far from Jonin. After all, there weren't many mission experiences when he followed me, so Naruto is far from enough to deal with some things. It's about the same as I thought. Kakashi nodded. Kakashi, Naruto's progress is very fast. I plan to teach him Sage Mode a year later. At that time, Naruto may be able to surpass me. Jiraiya said with a smile. Sage Mode? There are a lot of things Naruto has to do this year. Training his chakra attribute should also be on the agenda, Kakashi said. Well, I have already considered about that. After some time, Naruto will start training it. Since Lord Jiraiya already has plans, I will not say much, Kakashi said. Relax, I'm still very confident in teaching Naruto. The way you teach Naruto to train with the shadow clone is really good. If it weren't for this method, I'm afraid that Naruto's progress will not be this fast. Jiraiya praised. This method is very good, but it can only be used by Jinchuriki like Naruto. As for ordinary people, I am afraid that they will die if they used this method. That's right. By the way, Kakashi, I got some information. Akatsuki is probably going to act in 1 year at most. At that time, I will trouble you to look after Naruto. Kakashi frowned upon hearing this and said, Lord Jiraiya, are you planning to face the Akatsuki alone? Jiraiya smiled and said, of course not. I will just collect some information. After all, this organization is really dangerous. Lord Jiraiya, don't go head-to-head with the Akatsuki. According to my investigation, the people in it are all powerful missing nin. Even if your strength is extraordinary, you are still outnumbered. Don't worry, I am the one of the legendary Sannin, the sage of Mount Mayabaku, Lord Jiraiya. I won't die so easily. Jiraiya laughed and immediately patted Kakashi's shoulder. Hearing what Jiraiya said, Kakashi couldn't say anything more. Suddenly, Jiraiya showed a wretched smile as he took a book with a red cover from his pocket and then, he handed it to Kakashi. Kakashi was taken aback, and said, Lord Jiraiya, this is the Kika Innocence that I've spent 2 years writing. It is the sequel to Kika Violence. Hearing this, Kakashi's expression changed when looking at the red small book. This. Kakashi didn't know what to say for a while. Jiraiya showed a confident smile and said, this is my masterpiece. It will definitely satisfy you. Thank you very much, Lord Jiraiya. By the way, I feel a little tired, so I will go back to sleep first. Let's continue our discussion tomorrow. Goodbye, Lord Jiraiya. After Kakashi finished speaking, he immediately used flash steps and disappeared from the rooftop. Seeing this, Jiraiya smiled proudly. Sure enough, my Kaka series is full of charm, even Kakashi can't stand the temptation. I believe as long as it is published, it will sell hotly again. Ha ha ha, I really am a genius writer. Jiraiya then also get back to his room to rest. Right now, in Kakashi's room, there is a small table lamp that is on. Kakashi was flipping through the small red book with the help of the small lamp. And his mask couldn't hide the wretched expression on his face. From time to time, Kakashi made perverted laughter, which looked quite strange. And in such an atmosphere, time passed by. When Kakashi turned the last page of the book, the sky has already lit up. Ah, it's an amazing book. It's really a satisfying read. It's already done without me knowing. Chapter 402 Dirty Deal. The sky is already bright, but Kakashi is not in a hurry to get up. Kakashi felt a little tired as he didn't sleep all night. It's still early, so he should be able to get 1 or 2 hours of sleep. When he woke up again, it was already 8 o'clock in the morning. Seeing this, Kakashi got up from the bed numbly and tidied his clothes. Looking at the small red book on the bedside table, Kakashi puts it safely into his ninja bag. It's a collector's edition, I must keep it well. This inn gives the customer breakfast, so Kakashi went directly to the place where breakfast was served. As soon as he walked in, he saw Jiraiya sitting in a corner having breakfast. Seeing this, Kakashi walked over towards him. Lord Jiraiya. Oh, it's you Kakashi. You wake up a bit late today. Is it because you didn't sleep last night? Jiraiya said with a smile. His eyes seemed to be able to see through Kakashi. Kakashi didn't care too much about Jiraiya's teasing. After all, he is the author of his favorite book. Even if he reads his novels all night, there's no need to feel shame. After having breakfast together, they went to Naruto's room. At this time, Naruto was lying quietly on the bed, and his skin has already returned to normal. Kakashi couldn't help but sigh after seeing this. Kurama's regeneration is really amazing. Such severe wound can be restored to this degree in just one night. It seems that Naruto hasn't woken up yet. Lord Jiraiya, I have to go back first. I have just returned to Hidden Leaf Village, so there are still a lot of things waiting for me to deal in the Anbu. If I'm too late, I'm afraid that Lady Tsunade will get angry again. Ha, Kakashi, seeing you like this make me remember why I don't want to stay in the village. It's too troublesome. Okay, you should go back quickly, otherwise you will get attacked by Tsunade's powerful punch. Jiraiya said with a smile. Thank you for your understanding, Lord Jiraiya. Just as Kakashi wanted to use Hiraishin no Jutsu, Flying Thunder God Jutsu, to leave, he suddenly thought of something, and stopped. What's wrong? Jiraiya asked. Lord Jiraiya, after Naruto wake up, please tell him that me, Sasuke, and Sakura are waiting for him in Hidden Leaf Village. 1 year later, I hope he can become much stronger. Also, tell him that Sasuke is almost ready to become a Jonin. Kakashi said with a smile. Jiraiya was taken aback for a moment, and then smiled. You brat, you really are a good sensei. Don't worry, I will convey it to him. Kakashi smiled and said, thank you very much, Lord Jiraiya, then, see you next time. As soon as Kakashi's voice fell, Kakashi disappeared from there. Seeing this, Jiraiya took a seat on the side, and it is unknown what he was thinking. Not long after, Naruto woke up. Huh, why am I here? Naruto said in daze. Naruto, are you finally awake? Iro Sage? Why are you in my room? Are you peeking at me while I'm sleeping? Wah, what a pervert. Naruto said, as he's holding up his quilt with a look of fear. Hearing this, veins appeared on Jiraiya's forehead, and then he punched Naruto in the head. Bang. With a crisp sound, Naruto screamed while clutching his head. Ah. It hurts, Iro Sage, what are you doing? Help you sober up so that you don't talk and sleep again. Jiraiya said naturally. Then you didn't need to punch that hard. Naruto touched his head with a grudge on his face. Jiraiya smiled when he saw this. Naruto is sometimes pretty cute. Suddenly, Naruto said, that's right. Where's Kakashi-sensei? Naruto said as he started to look around, but he didn't see the familiar figure. Stop searching, Kakashi has already left, Jiraiya said. Ah. Why did he leave so fast? We have just met again after a long time. Naruto said quite disappointedly. Well, he's already left, so it's useless to complain about it. Kakashi has left some message to you, do you want to hear it? Hearing this, Naruto suddenly turned energetic. Hey, what is it? I want to hear it. When Jiraiya saw this, he showed a wretched smile. Naruto has a bad feeling in his heart when he saw Jiraiya's smile. This perverted old man, did he want to? Sure enough, Jiraiya said wretchedly in the next second, it's okay to tell you, but you have to become a beautiful woman. Only then will I tell you. Remember, it's beautiful woman with plump body. Hearing Jiraiya's words, Naruto's expression instantly became extremely helpless. Iro Sage, can't you ask something else? Hey, Naruto, don't you want to know what Kakashi said? Jiraiya smiled lecherously. Hearing this, Naruto can only gritted his teeth, and said, fine, I'll do it. Both of his hands then formed hand seals. Oiroke no Jutsu. Sexy Jutsu, bang. With a bang, a lot of smoke appeared, and immediately, a plump naked girl with yellow hair appeared in the room. She showed an enchanting posture, and no normal adult male could resist it. Lord Jiraiya, how is it? The girl said with a charming voice. Her every move showed an intoxicating power. Seeing this, Jiraiya's eyes lit up. His saliva flowed down uncontrollably, and immediately, blood flowed out of his nostrils. 100 points. No, it's 200 points. Jiraiya can't help but yelled. Lord Jiraiya, what did Kakashi-sensei say? Please tell me. The yellow-haired girl put a finger on her mouth, and showed a sad expression. No problem. Kakashi said that he, Sasuke, and Sakura are waiting for Naruto in Hidden Leaf Village, and he hoped that Naruto can become much stronger in a year, and that Sasuke and the others are almost ready to become a Jonin. The yellow-haired girl was taken aback when she heard this, and with a bang, the smoke appeared again. Nani? Sasuke and the others are about to become Jonin? How come I am still Genin? No, I have to train harder, Hero Sage. Let's do the next training. I definitely can't lose to Sasuke. Naruto yelled. At this time, Jiraiya has not completely awake yet as his nosebleeds are still flowing, so Naruto's words fell into deaf ear. Hero Sage. Naruto yelled again. But Jiraiya still didn't respond. Damn. I can only do that technique. Sexy Jutsu, the yellow-haired girl appeared again, and Jiraiya directly reacted. Lord Jiraiya, please teach and train me again. Well, no problem. Beautiful lady, what do you want to learn? At this moment, the door of the room was opened. Hello, it's time for the room. The waiter hasn't finished speaking, and he couldn't speak anymore when he saw the scene in front of him. You. What are you doing?